One trade. We need 4 more for you to win. We had 1 yesterday, right?
Just a Leonard Williams?
Yeah.
Okay.
How about Dabo telling a fan on a call-in show that you're part of the problem?
Well, there's some people that think that was a plant, but
oh, really?
I didn't think so, but they were just curious why Dabo had all those stats. Okay, but I don't know if he memorized or what, but so is Felipe there or no?
Yeah, that's it.
Is Felipe aware of the Harden trade?
Oh, yeah. Felipe's in a Halloween costume. He's his own sad lizard today.
2:05 in the morning. That's when the notification got dropped.
Yeah, I was sound asleep.
Why did they do?
I slept through all the. The only thing that makes noise on my phone is Bleacher Report. I don't know why Bleacher Report makes noise. My texts don't make noise. Nothing else makes noise.
You go into your notifications.
But why just Bleacher Report?
Because you obviously activated it when you downloaded it.
So I only activated Bleacher Report, but not the others to make noise?
Yes.
And what the hell did I do?
You know what? Next time you're in studio, we'll go through it.
Okay.
You should see these two laughing right now. What are you, Felipe? Dumbo?
He's Stitch.
Oh, Stitch. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, there you go. That's how you do it. I did it last night.
Good line. Mark said I'm David Moulton.
Wow. You've gained a lot of weight. You've gained 30 years and a lot of weight. Yeah, I did a lot of talking yesterday. Morning, Wancho. And we got most everything fixed in our condo yesterday.
Good.
It was a very productive day. And the maids came. And Mark, I have to admit, my wife doesn't clean up for the maids.
Good.
Took years, but I broke her. There you go. Favorite Halloween movie? That could be a poll question. I'd probably be better than favorite Halloween candy.
We've done that.
Yeah. Plus, you have to take Reese's out. Yep, I was a dinosaur. Glad you liked it. Just trying to have some fun. Be in the spirit of things.
What are you, Dickie Dunn? Just trying to capture the spirit of the thing? Going slap shot on me?
I could only wish to be some of the characters on Slapshot. My mom, by the way, when the whole Woodward comment that I made yesterday, and I said the only Woodward I know is Bob, my mom texted me and said, how about the woman who was married to Paul Newman all those years? I went, oh, Joanne, good call.
Must admit the blimp shots make Detroit look a lot nicer than it really is.
Yes, they do. I had a lot of fun pointing out to my aunt and uncle, like, this is where we park. This is where we tailgate. This is what we do, you know.
City was alive last night. It was beautiful. I love a city. It was great.
20 seconds.
People were in an awesome mood. All right. It was cloudy and low 40s walking to the game, clear in mid 30s walking home. It was great.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. Obviously, it's the final Tuesday in October because it's Happy Halloween. How the heck are you? We are Miller and Moulton. This is the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Happy Halloween, everyone, whether you're getting dressed up or whether you're just the one passing out the candy today. Be careful. There'll be a lot of kids on the roads at all times of the day. Top of the morning to you, Mark. How are you?
Happy Halloween, David, my sad lizard friend.
I'm not a sad lizard. I don't know what got into him. Okay. I looked over at him. I went, I'm a dinosaur. Sad lizard. What is wrong with you?
Joe did you dirty last night.
Yeah, I don't think Joe was
Troy
happy.
had your back.
Oh,
Troy
yeah.
had your back. Joe did you dirty. I knew it was coming. It was funny. I'm watching with the wife, and they're showing the couch. I'm like, get in here. They're going to show David. Here it comes. I'm ready for it. And then Joe does you dirty.
Yep. Joe wasn't feeling all that well this, Sunday, Monday little thing. And, he looked at me. He had people coming to the booth last night. He had longtime friends from St. Louis. He had a couple, so he had people. And then, you look around and you're like, hey, there's this person, there's our staff. And then there's a dinosaur, half hour before the game. There's a fat guy sitting there as a dinosaur. And Joe just kind of looked at me kind of like, and so I don't think, I don't think Joe was, overly happy with my dinosaur. Troy loved it. All right. And Troy was like the bouncer. He was my protection. Troy looked at me and said, don't worry, I got you. I mean, he took pictures and everything. He's got, nieces and nephews and or his girlfriend does. And he took pictures. They love dinosaurs. I mean, he did show me one funny picture. They're dressed up as a dinosaur and so am I. And he looked at me and said, well, they're 5. And I have to admit that made me take inventory as to whether or not maybe I had gone down the wrong road. But I don't know. Come on, it's Halloween. Let's lighten up.
Hey, I was happy to see that your boss had your back.
He did.
The boss. I mean, there is no other boss in your world that is quite like that boss.
So it's so funny you say that. I don't want to say there was a dispute about something, but there was a question about something in a production meeting a couple of weeks ago. And somebody said, well, may I remind you, you work for ESPN. And I said out loud, actually, I work for the 4-letter network called Troy, TROW or TROY.
And you do.
And the room cracked up. But I just kind of looked at him like, just so you know, okay. I mean, I work for him. He works for you. I work for him.
So in case you missed it, last night, Monday Night Football, Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, here is the call of one
boy.
David Moulton. Sad lizard.
Right. I know. I looked over at him like, come on, man. I'm a dinosaur. You know I'm a dinosaur. Come on. We talked about it in the production meeting. They said, what are you going as? I go, I don't know. Some combination of T-Rex and a Stegosaurus. I don't know. I got things going down my back. I don't know if that makes me a Stegosaurus or what. So, yeah, sad lizard. No. Huh. So that'll be it, though. I did it last year. I was Sully and from Monsters, Inc. And this year I was a dinosaur. And by the way, there were people texting me going, hey, way to go, Gators pride. I'm not a gator. It's just, I wasn't a gator.
No,
a dinosaur.
that's a sad lizard right now.
Right. That's a sad lizard. 5-3 hosting Arkansas. That's a sad lizard. Come on now. So most people, though, at least those that reached out to me, they took it in the, mode it was meant. Have some fun. Lighten up. It's a football game. I didn't have a lot of confidence in Jimmy G and the Raiders. Also, I thought
neither did the Raiders.
No, and with good reason, by the way. With good reason. And I think it's in their best interest to trade Devontae Adams before 4 o'clock today, before he goes postal on the team and the offense, for goodness sakes.
Well, David, I'll tell you what. Yesterday, we set the bar at 4.5 for the trade deadline. There was one trade yesterday. I went under because that's what the NFL typically does, but it should go way over. I mean, it really should go way over. It won't go way over. If it gets over, it'll be 5 or 6. But based on where a lot of teams are, what the needs are of top teams, there really should be a lot of action today.
Weren't you surprised, by the way, that Leonard Fournette signed with the Bills? First off, they don't run much. Secondly, they run with their quarterback a lot. I thought he'd be perfect in Dallas. I even thought Baltimore with their injuries. See, I like Cook in Buffalo. I like the younger Cook. I think they should give him the ball more. But so that I thought was an interesting signing. And so far, no moves on the quarterback front. Not yet. Vikings came out and said, quote, they're formulating a plan, unquote.
Well, you've got until 4 o'clock today to formulate that plan and carry it out, boys.
Right. Here, I have a suggestion. Ryan Tannehill.
We formulated your plan for you yesterday morning.
Yep.
And we haven't deviated from said plan.
Nope. So we have an NFL trade deadline, and it's as if we have an NBA trade deadline. I got to admit, this league oftentimes is far more interesting off the court than on. I mean, in the spring, the league is fascinating on the court. All right. They go at it. It's fascinating. And I will say, Mark, for what it's worth, so far, a couple weeks in, all right, the quality of play, people are playing, and the quality of play has been pretty good. It really has. It feels better than the last couple years of NBA regular season basketball. But we got an NFL trade deadline. We're 8 weeks into the NFL season, and James Harden is an LA Clipper. Not that big money. I don't know is he still a star?
I don't know.
He's paid
in
like
name
one.
only.
Yeah, former star.
He's paid like one. He's treated like one. The media acts like he's one. I don't know if he is one on the court anymore.
I mean, he is in the strip clubs, and he is when he's in shape. But that's a big if. That's a big if. But Harden to the LA Clippers. Not that the high-priced stars get what they want in the NBA or anything. I mean, Lillard went to Milwaukee instead of Miami. Could argue he went to a better place on the court. Could argue that. And speaking of which, did you see Giannis yesterday post-game? Did you see how Giannis showed up for his post-game interviews? Dressed as the Incredible Hulk. Complete inflatable costume and everything. Yeah, I felt vindicated. I got to admit, I did. Although I wore mine while working. That would have been, I guess, like him wearing it while playing.
I was going to say I missed your post-game presser.
Why was he wearing the inflatable costume? He doesn't need that.
Well, that's true, but I think, it's kind of how he plays.
Oh, yeah, I get the
Hutchinson
Hulk
showed
thing.
up in costume last night for the Lions.
Right. When I saw that and we had video and I said, see, we get in the spirit of things. Joe. Not only that, he's going trick-or-treating today with his 2 5-year-old boys.
Are you going trick-or-treating tonight with the granddaughter?
No, they'll beat me. I don't even land till 7:30.
Okay.
Okay. No, everybody will be done. Please, I'll be lucky. I'll walk in the door close to 8:30. My wife will probably be in bed. Okay, so no. I will have missed trick-or-treating this year. So
Would you, if you were trick-or-treating, would you have taken any candy?
no. I mean, I would have, gotten in line and what have you, and then I just would have passed, given it away. If I was in costume. I mean, now, I'm the parent that just, or grandparent in this case, who just walks around on the roadway,
Oh, I didn't know because of last year's costume and this year's costume, if the whole family went
last year
in costume. I thought
last year, big deal, grandkids' first Halloween, like she'll remember it, but it was for the adults, man. Right. Oh yeah. My mom even took the train into town. I mean, had to be there first Halloween. Oh, right. I remember that. Biggie. So, but are you going with your daughter?
Yes.
Although, heck, you guys have already done at least 3. I mean, does she need any more candy?
We've done 3 trunk or treats already.
Unbelievable.
We will do the full bore Halloween tonight in the golf cart so we can cover more ground.
Will you leave the community or is there just no need?
There's no need. There's
Okay.
plenty of doors inside the community. We'll get the golf cart. We'll get the cooler full of drinks.
Well,
We'll get the daughter rolling, and we'll be after it tonight.
I thought the golf cart's just for the parents. I thought the kids like running from house to house.
Yeah, but in our neighborhood, there are huge gaps of people that do not give out candy.
Huh.
So this is the way we can take care of the whole neighborhood.
Wait a minute. Seriously? People don't.
First off, there are a lot of people in my neighborhood that aren't even here yet.
Okay, well, that's fine.
And then there are a lot of people who will not participate in Halloween, that will just turn their lights out. And if they lived in my neighborhood in Michigan, they would have gotten their house toilet papered or egged. They just kids don't do that anymore.
So you mean to tell me there are people who are home who do not give out candy?
Yeah.
Wow.
Lots of them. Always has been.
Wow. That seems downright rude. And coming from me, that's shocking.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest
that was
Florida.
my bad.
The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great
didn't go
menu
over
for
the air 'cause I
dine-in
didn't have
or
it programmed,
takeout.
but
Enjoy
we
our
paid
famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6, and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill,
Mark, are you talking about the
11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Bucks?
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Yeah, hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're gonna have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways
We will
without
find
a
out
motor,
today.
the Bayfront has
Got my
canoes,
ass scarred for-
standboards, and kayaks.
She doesn't
At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
So did it go over the radio, just not over Twitch? Did the clip go over the radio?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, that's my bad, David. It went over the radio
No,
for sure.
it's okay. Trent, I would say the thing, I don't know if there will be anything. If you leave our microphones on during a commercial, that's a problem. That can come back and get us fired.
Yes.
That bothers me. Otherwise, honestly, I'm thrilled that you're willing to get up at this hour and do this.
That makes two of us.
Unbelievable. I remember those days, barely.
How was Ford Field last night? Did you like it?
Well, I'd been there
know
before.
you
I'd
had
done
it.
2 Thanksgiving games there. I love how it's situated in downtown, and it kind of blends in as much as it can. I love it. I'm a cities guy, so I loved walking the half mile to the game last night. I was just following people in Lions uniforms. It was fun talking to people along the way. It was great. Field was rocking. People were fired up.
A couple of times he did, DC, because full disclosure, I've known Trent's dad since he and I were both 17. And when Trent got into this business, his dad reached out to me about a year and a half ago and said, talk to my son. He wants to do this. And when I tried to talk him out of it, he still got into this business. And then when the job opened, he accepted it, even though I told him not to. Best one, though, is that Tim Novak sends me a Facebook Messenger telling me that you're your dad's son, as if I hired you not knowing that.
Right.
I'm like, your producer's Don Valley's kid. I'm like, and I love Tim. Tim's one of the nicest guys in the world. He's a couple years younger than me. We went to high school together. I've known Tim, since I was 15, 16 years old. He is a super great human being. And I say this with the utmost respect.
Right.
You wonder why people work in local government? He has spent his whole life working in local government, and he's the one that asked me that question.
Obviously, that city is well run. Everything
Oh,
is
yeah.
smooth like butter.
Yep. Yes, Victoria Park is amazing. Cabin Ball. That is an unbelievable Halloween neighborhood. Lakes Park used to be that way. I don't know if it still is. When I lived in Lake Park, that used to go pretty nuts for Halloween as well, but that's also 20 plus years ago. Felipe
like
is
those
done. He's helping out this morning to get Trent through the day because we had to get some login issues, but Felipe has left us.
And no, Shimko, luckily, I've never had a complaint.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
It's 21 minutes past the hour, top of the morning to you. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. David Samson will join us, top of the 7 o'clock hour. Pat Kirwan, top of the 8 o'clock hour. And since some people thought that I dressed up as a Gator last night, that we'll talk a little Gators football with Kevin Brockway in a little over 2 hours. Either that or I was a sad little lizard, right?
Well, I don't know where anybody could come with the Gator. There's no snout.
Yeah, it shocked me, but there were quite a few actually who text me and go, "Hey, way to represent the Gators." What? No. I mean, now if you beat Georgia, maybe, but come on now. No, seriously. But that was a nice win for the Lions.
I thought it was similar to what the Dolphins did on Sunday. It was a game they were supposed to win. They didn't play great, but it was businesslike. They got the job done, and you move on.
Yeah.
You beat the teams you're supposed to beat. It was nothing nothing overly impressive. Goff made a bad interception. They had a fumble in the red zone. Those are things that you obviously can't do against good teams, but you can get away with them against the Raiders. And Jimmy Garoppolo was awful.
Oof. Boy, was he ever. I mean, Detroit thoroughly outplayed them, but there were some plays there where if Garoppolo can just keep the ball in play, Devontae might have had 2 touchdowns totaling about 180 yards. I mean, man, I could see why he's unhappy. I mean, you think about it. You went from Aaron Rodgers to Jimmy Garoppolo. And actually, you went from Aaron Rodgers to Derek Carr, but at least he was your college buddy. It was too long to explain, during the 5 seconds that I have to talk to Troy. But during a commercial, I said, I know we probably won't go there, but when I look at these two teams, I find the irony. The Lions were at 9-7 about 6 to 8 years ago, and they thought, this isn't good enough. We got to do better than this. And they got rid of Jim Caldwell. And they went and hired a longtime Patriot assistant and brought in a former Patriot executive. And they ran that sucker right off the road into the ditch, held down the canyon. Car explodes at the bottom of it. And these guys had to come in and do just about everything right in 3 years later just to get it out of the ditch. I go, don't you think that the Raiders just did that 2 years ago? They went 10-6, made the playoffs. They got a quarterback who wants to die a Raider. They got great chemistry. They fought through the whole Gruden controversy. They got a coach they absolutely love and desperately wanted to keep playing for. And they went, nope, no, not the right guy. Give me the longtime Patriot assistant. Give me the former executive. And yeah, you guys run the show.
Or run it into the ground.
And they were just, I'm waiting to see what canyon that this franchise is lying at the bottom of. Man.
And you have one of the elite defenders in the league. You have a guy on the edge that's unblockable.
Well, I'll tell you what, though. He was unblockable against the run when they kept trying to. First off, they try to run at him. And we could hear him from the booth one time. They ran at him on back-to-back plays, and he literally turns to Dan Campbell and says like 4 things that I can't say loudly. And basically the moral of the story was, what the blank are you doing trying to run the ball at me, you dumb blankety blank? But Penei Sewell did a hell of a job on him one-on-one rushing the passer. He got close a few times, okay, made Goff move, but Penei Sewell, because they did not give him help all night, all right? He did a really good job in pass protection. But, yeah, Max Crosby's tremendous. Wow.
And you're right about Adams that, particularly the play when they they have the ball at the goal line right after the muffed kick return.
Right. He's 98-yard touchdown.
Wide open.
Wide open.
The ball 5 yards out of bounds.
Yeah. If the ball's in play, it's a touchdown. And Troy even said, now, I know you're about to get hit. It's not easy. But because, Detroit sold out, too. That was an all-out blitz. That was 7-man blitz. There was no safety anywhere to be had. There were 4 receivers, one-on-one.
And the corner there plays press coverage.
I know, and he bit, on the move. Yeah, that's a walk-in touchdown. There's still time left in the game there, too. There's 5 minutes. And if nothing else, Mark, you know what it would have been? Would have been a cover. And I know you were sweating it out.
Oh, absolutely. I stayed up all the way to the 2-minute warning in that one to make sure I got the cover.
Wow. So, but Detroit's 6-2 at their bye. Okay. All right. They got whacked at Baltimore. They got edged in overtime at home against Seattle.
Which doesn't look nearly as bad now. Seattle's 5-2 team. They're beating some pretty good teams.
Right. And that could be a big game come the end of the year in playoff seeding. Could be the difference between a 2 and a 3. It is right now.
That'd be 2 years in a row where the Lions are just the bane of their existence is the Seahawks.
That's right.
Go.
Lost to them last year and lost in the 9-8 tiebreaker because of it. Yep.
But to the Seahawks' credit, like Mark said, they might win that division now with the Niners reeling. So we'll see.
And think about it. They've signed Frank Clark and traded for Leonard Williams all in the last 5 days. If Geno plays a little bit better, okay.
And they're getting healthier. They were banged up the first half of the season. So Seattle, I think, is still a dangerous team. But you're right. Geno's got to play better.
Seattle with a tough one coming up. They're at Baltimore. Well, Lamar 15-1 against the NFC. But we'll deal with that a little bit later on. So nice win for the Lions. And they're living up to expectations, if you think about it, Mark. They were 1-6 last year, but finished the year going 8-2. And they were the trendy team this year. Them and the Jags, right?
Well, and everybody thought that they were the 3rd best team in the NFC heading into last night. They did nothing to change anybody's mind about that. In fact, they may have gone, well, maybe they have a shot to play with the top 2. And I don't think anybody believes that just yet. And the schedule for the Lions will not give them any games until they play Dallas very late in the season for there to be a measuring stick against the top teams in the NFC because it's the only one they play.
Second to last week of the NFL season, Saturday, December 30th. The Lions are in Dallas. Dallas, meanwhile, has a very tough schedule the rest of the way. The cream puff part of their schedule has come and gone. Same with Miami. The softer part of Miami's schedule has now been played. Now we join the regularly scheduled programming already in progress.
It's why we talk about, you don't like to play the schedule game too early, but you have to be cognizant of it because the difference in what Detroit's playing and what Dallas playing is unbelievably different in terms of how difficult their schedules are.
And it's why when the NFL schedule maker gives you a W, you got to go get the W. But so Detroit's taking care of business. Jacksonville's taking care of business. Are they ready to take that big leap? Are they ready to do what the Eagles did last year? Remember, the Eagles finished 2021 strong. They went 7-3 down the stretch to make the playoffs, got whacked in the division round, made a couple of moves. The young quarterback got significantly better. Now we know where the Eagles were last year and where they are this year. Detroit and Jacksonville and Miami, they fit the criteria. 9-8 team a year ago, beaten in the first round of the playoffs. All right. They ready to make that jump? Got half a season to find out. Starting 5 is next.
I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
You made Sports Center last night too, Moulton.
What?
You were on Sports Center.
Seriously?
Look at Jeff Mayer's tweet at us. You were Sports Center.
Okay. Wow. That's funny. So, okay, funny moment. It's another reason why to watch us on Twitch. So it's 15 minutes, 20 minutes before the game. And there's like 4 or 5 of us. There's Tony, there's Bill, there's Ed, there's John Perry, there's me. We're all sitting there. Troy comes around the corner from the front of the booth and he walks over and he looks and we're just all sitting there and he goes, "This looks like a Sports Center promo for the 90s. Okay. Because they're all dressed professionally, this, that, and the other thing. And there I am in costume. He goes, "I think we're about ready to tape our Sports Center promo."
Just needed a piano for you.
So sad lizard. He called me a sad lizard, right?
Sad lizard.
A sad lizard. What's up with that?
I don't get the sad part.
Yeah.
Use the dinosaur for the lizard, but why sad?
I think that's him editorializing because he just took a look at me. He
Have a
thought I
smile
was
on
sad.
you didn't have a smile on your face.
I had a smirk. I mean, come on, I'm a dinosaur.
Hey, when
mean,
you did the spin, was that to show like the spikes on your back, or was that embarrassing?
Yeah, I didn't know they were doing it, by the way. I'm working. Okay, and all of a sudden Joe starts going into this, and I go, oh, I guess they're doing a boot shot. I will say Troy loved it. It kept him in a good mood. Now that'll be it. Okay, that'll be it, because next year I think it keeps moving further away. I think it'll be a Thursday next year because you got a leap year involved, and so then a Friday and a Saturday, and
And can you really be 60 in a Halloween costume on air the next time it comes around?
So, no, that'll probably be the last time. Then we start getting down the road, if it's our Super Bowl year, I don't know. So I was Sully, and according to Joe, quote, a sad lizard. I think that's him editorializing. That's just how he viewed me.
He projected.
He did. And that wasn't even passive aggressive right there. That was just aggressive. KW. It's Halloween. We're talking about costumes and candy and what have you.
KW, I think, spends the whole show researching as many obscure facts as he can to put in the Twitch chat room.
I mean, you know what I think would be good right now? Let's talk ovarian cancer at 6:37 in the morning. What do you say?
Anything from the Gaza Strip you want to report on, KW?
KW will make you our correspondent, actually.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"22 minutes before the hour on this Tuesday, but it's Halloween. Happy Halloween. We'll have a Halloween-based poll question of some kind. Okay, we've done the whole candy thing. I don't know if we can do that again.
It may be as simple as, what are you giving away tonight? Chocolate or candy?
Huh.
Because the kids these days, they don't like chocolate. All of my daughter's friends, all of the kids I'm around all of the time at soccer games and softball games and gymnastics, they would prefer Sour Patch Kids and Starburst and Skittles to Snickers and Reese's and Three Musketeers. They just would. That's all.
Wow. I'm not ready for this generation then. Man, that's I got to go lay down. My head is spinning after that. Saying no to a Snickers and a Reese's. I mean, you went with the big two there.
I'm just telling you that if you had Sour Patch Kids and a Reese's next to each other, I think you'd be stunned at what the kids would grab.
Wow. Man. All right. I got to get back to sports here because I obviously I am out of touch. I know that's a shocking development. Time now for
Starting 5
there it is.
on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
did so well yesterday. On no sleep, his car broke down. He was a disheveled mess. Okay. Now his Lions won. They're 6-2. He doesn't know how to handle it.
That's what it is, too.
His head's spinning.
He's going to have to learn how to deal with success.
Yeah.
And then come do this show.
Yeah, exactly. Where you don't have to worry about that. Hey, how about them 6-2 Lions, huh? Heading into their bye week with a very solid performance. 26-14 over the Raiders, who are 3-5. They are the lowest. They're the worst rushing team. They're the third lowest scoring team. They're tied for the most turnovers. It's amazing they won 3 games. There was a trade yesterday in the NFL. The Giants sent their big fella. They've got 2 of them in the middle of their defensive line. They sent one of them, Leonard Williams, who's played his whole career in Jersey, played for the Jets and now the Giants. Better call a moving company, buddy. You're going to Seattle. They paid a price, though. He's in the final year of a contract, and he ain't cheap. And they give up a 2nd rounder in next year's draft and a 5th rounder in 2025. So they've added Frank Clark and Leonard Williams to their defensive line in the last 4 or 5 days. They're looking at the Niners going, we're taking this seriously, okay? We're not the cute team you steamrolled 3 times last year. Got it? Okay, good. The Bills signed playoff Lenny. Now they just have to get to the playoffs. Leonard Fournette is a Buffalo Bill. The Cards have announced they're benching Joshua Dobbs. And they're not starting Kyler Murray this week. They're starting Clayton Tune instead. I don't know a damn thing about Clayton Tune. I'm sure I could have looked it up and then just, impressed you with, well, he was Joshua Dobbs. You know what I'm wondering? Is it possible Joshua Dobbs is getting traded? Do you know, Mark, there will likely be 11 backup quarterbacks starting this coming week in the NFL? 11?
Clayton Tune went to Houston, in case you were wondering.
Okay.
He's 24.
Right.
Where's number 15 for the Cardinals? So when you see number 15, Clayton Tune.
Tune.
Yes.
Okay. That's Tune.
Correct.
Matthew Stafford, I think they're poo-pooing the injury, to be honest with you. McVay is not giving much information. It's a sprained thumb. Might be worse. Did you see the bandage that was on it? They say he's day-to-day. Yeah, aren't we all? He can't grip a football. He's a quarterback. That seems significant to me. I don't know. Game 3 of the World Series last night. You know what's significant? A, Texas won 3-1. They lead 2-1. But B, man, the Rangers, I think they're an NFL team with all the injuries they had to deal with last night. So Scherzer's back tightens up on him. Well, he's old. All right, so he could only give him 3 innings, 3 playoff starts.
All he's been able to give him.
Yeah, 3 playoff starts. He's given them 9 2/3 innings. But hey, they're 2 wins away from their first World Series. But here's the big one. Adolis Garcia. You know, the guy who's having the postseason and all postseasons. Yeah, he flied out in the 8th and grabbed his left side. Like he may have pulled something. Yeah, that's a problem. There's not a lot of time left to heal. So let's pay attention to that one. Let's hope it's a muscle spasm of some kind. 9th straight road win in this postseason for the Texas Rangers. That's a record. And that's impressive. 2 in St. Pete against the Rays. And then they won 2 in Baltimore against the Orioles. Then they won the middle 3 in the first 2 and the last 2 in Houston. And now they won the first one in Arizona. They're 9-0 on the road. Unbelievable. 3 in the 3rd, including a 2-run homer from Corey Seager. That's all they needed. Craig Counsell He's technically still the manager of the Brewers, at least until the end of the World Series. But he's a free agent. And I don't know what's more mystifying, the Vikings' handling of their quarterback situation or Milwaukee's handling of their managerial situation. I mean, why they let Craig Counsell enter the final year of his contract and then become a free agent. And he reportedly doesn't want to go anywhere. Like Kirk Cousins. But when you don't make the guy an offer, he starts to think maybe I have to look elsewhere. You know who's lining up next to interview him, right? Yeah, the Mets. It's just in. They got a lot of money. Frank Howard passed away yesterday, 87 years old. Mark, he holds the distinction of hitting the last home run in Washington Senators history and then hitting the first home run in Texas Rangers history. He also hit nearly 400 home runs in his career and was Rookie of the Year with the Dodgers 60 years ago. Frank was 87. And Aaron Judge won the Roberto Clemente Award. That's baseball's version of the Walter Payton Award. That's like you're the best damn person in our league. It's for character and philanthropic work. So congratulations to the big fella. He was pretty good on the field, too. NBA. Heat were down 24 after 3. They rallied, lost to Milwaukee by 8. Giannis dressed up as the Incredible Hulk after the game in the post-game interviews. Heat are 1-3 to start the year. Magic had a fourth-quarter lead in Los Angeles. D'Angelo Russell, 28-8. AD had a big game. LeBron had a big fourth. Magic suffered their first loss of the year, 106-103. Celtics are still 3-0. They beat Washington by 19. The Brown-Tatum tandem combined for 69 points. I would hope so, because the two of them combined are making the gross national product of Venezuela. And the Mavs are unbeaten, Mark. They're 3-0. They beat Memphis by 15. This Luka Doncic guy, 35 points, 12 rebounds, 12 assists. And imagine when he gets in shape.
Will he ever get in shape?
I don't know, because you don't have to. Because speaking of out of shape, James Harden got traded to the Clippers. He, along with P.J. Tucker and another player, go to L.A. for 4 players and draft picks. Players aren't bad, by the way. They're Robert Covington, Marcus Morris, Nicholas Batum. Okay, they're good, solid players. In a way, this could be better, because now it's Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, and then about 5-6 guys who are going to have to know their roles. The Sixers might actually be better after this. NHL, Panthers had a 2-0 lead in Boston, lost in overtime 3-2. The Lightning lost to the Kraken for the first time. Seattle beat them in OT 4-3. The Rangers, Mark, have been playing hockey for almost 100 years. They're one of those original 6 franchises. So when they do something they've never done before, that's actually worthy of a wow. The Rangers just went 5-0 on a 5-game road trip. 97 years they've been playing hockey. They've never done it. Huh.
That's remarkable. That's remarkable.
Right.
That they've never won 5 games on a road trip in their history. I mean, it's staggering to me.
They beat Winnipeg 3-2 in overtime. And speaking of overtime, the Islanders had a 2-0 lead in the third. The Wings came back to take the lead, gave it up late, but won it in OT 4-3. And as Trent, our new producer, mentioned yesterday was the one time all year, we think, that you could have played on the same night a Lions, Pistons, Wings parlay. The Lions came through. The Wings came through in overtime. The Pistons lost by 12 in Oklahoma City. College football, Brian Ferentz will not be back as offensive coordinator. They're not even giving him a chance to average 25 points a game. They said, listen, it's so dreadful watching this. You're gone. Don't care. Don't care if you hang 70 on somebody next month. You're gone. Done.
Wouldn't you like to see the offense just start rolling in Iowa the rest of the year, though?
I would. 4 wide, shotgun, up tempo, first drive of the next game. Honestly, I'd max out a credit card to pay for it. I would. And did you catch the ACC? This is very optimistic of them. They unveiled 7 years worth of schedules yesterday. 7 years.
Schedule makers are just, this AI is taking over, David. It is making it a lot easier. They just released the computer program yesterday.
So remember, the ACC is going to have what, 17 teams?
Right.
17 teams. They're all going to play a home and home against one another in that 7-year period of time. There are 11 protected rivalry games. The Noles have 2 protected games. They'll play Miami and Clemson every year. Miami has 2 protected games. They'll play the Noles and the Hokies. We're going back to the Big East days. Miami and Va-Tech, and that was a hell of a rivalry in the late 90s and early 2000s. See, Va-Tech had this Mike Vick guy. Anyway, for next year, Mark, we're still assuming that the ACC is going to remain a thing and Florida State and Miami are going to stay in it. But Florida State next year, Mark, their home games, BC, Cal. That's right. They get them at home. Whew.
Thank goodness.
Clemson and North Carolina. But on the road, Duke, Georgia Tech, Miami, and they got to go to SMU. That's right, SMU. Miami, for the record, Duke, Va-Tech, Florida State, Wake Forest at home. Cal. That's right, Miami's got to go to Cal. Georgia Tech, Louisville, and Syracuse on the road.
Cal and Syracuse on the road, huh?
Yeah. Yep. Same conference.
Right.
Those are conference games. Yep. I just think it's cute that they think they're still going to be the ACC for 7 years. Hell, I think we should poll question today should be how many teams are going to announce they're leaving the ACC in the next 7 months.
I'm right there with you. Right there with you.
But, if they're going to close their eyes and play along, I guess we should too. And 8 minutes before the hour, that was
the Starting Five every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
Florida State's going, listen, we got to get out of this conference. Why? Because we're not going to the West Coast to play conference games. Okay. The other stuff, whatever. That's details. Not going to Cal or Stanford. Got it? It's ridiculous.
7 years or 7 months?
And we'll come up with a Halloween poll question next hour, early. I promise we will. We were thinking Halloween movies, scary movies. But I don't know. It's just a thought. I like your poll question idea. Chocolate or candy?
What are you giving out tonight? And did you realize that the kids like candy? Because you're buying chocolate for yourself.
I was going to say, we've never bought candy. We've never given out candy. Miller and Moulton. David Samson is next.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to make sure you're shopping with the best. And the best when it comes to GIA certified diamonds and diamond jewelry is not online. It's not in the malls. And it's not with any of the new pop-up jewelry stores trying to make a go of it here in Southwest Florida. The best place to buy diamonds is with my friends Jason and Todd at the Diamond District, who have made Southwest Florida their home for over 20 years now. The largest selection of GIA certified diamonds is with the Diamond District. The only place you'll find diamonds 8 to 10% over cost is with the Diamond District. America's top bridal designers have chosen the Diamond District to represent their engagement rings exclusively in Southwest Florida. Simply put, the best selection, experience, and best prices are with Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Good morning, David.
Good morning. Excuse me. Good morning. How are you?
Doing well. How about yourself?
I am good.
You know, these playoff games are slowing down a little bit.
Oh, God, are they ever? Last night's was decent, but
yeah,
it is some late nights.
Yeah, wasn't a lot of hitting last night, so.
I'm looking at my wait to sees for my show to see how many Harden wait to sees I got right or wrong with that trade in the middle of the night. James Harden will be traded to the Los Angeles Clippers from June 30th of this year. Outstanding. Got that one right.
Do you imagine baseball being run like basketball?
No. The level of player empowerment is staggering to me.
It really is.
I just can't wrap my arms around it.
And yet, compared to the NFL, David, I think the baseball players have a lot of say.
That's true.
I mean, that's actually the Players Association that mystifies me the most.
The footballs?
Yeah.
Right. Number one sport, make the most money and have the worst deal.
Yeah, by far. And they have the shortest careers. I don't get it. David, on a personal note, is everybody you know safe?
I'm a degree away, so it's friends of family, not family.
Okay.
Have already, there's been some death, but that, along with the rampant anti-Semitism on campuses and everywhere else, is just staggering. My son is at Yale, and it's just a hotbed of shit there, and the other Ivies as well. Everywhere. My alma mater's embarrassing me at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. This is about as bad as I've seen it in my lifetime. Just the people who are now free to say what they think instead of just think what they think, I think is the biggest change that I've seen. Thank you for asking. What about you guys?
Well, we're hanging in there.
It's hard sometimes to do sports, isn't it?
Well, you've got to draw a wall, not a line, but a wall. Because if you walk through a door and go to the other side, it's difficult to come back. So we did it a few years. We did it a few years ago with politics, David, and it was really hard.
Coming back.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
And Tuesdays at 7 in the East, we are joined by David Samson, and he is working late nights and then getting up early, not just for us, but for himself at 8 a.m. every day. He tapes his Nothing Personal with David Samson podcast, but he's working days and nights for the CBS Sports and CBS Sports HQ. Never mind his weekly work on the Dan Le Batard Show. You can follow David on Twix, Twitter/X, at David, the letter P. Samson, David P. Samson. We know you're fighting a cold. Otherwise, how are you?
I'm doing well. It's October. We're getting toward the end of October. It's been a great run for the last 28 days since October 3rd, and the playoffs are at most 5 days from being finished. And we're going to have a new World Series champion as early as tomorrow and as late as Saturday.
All right. His name escapes me. Runs through the sign last night in the third inning.
Christian Walker.
Christian Walker runs through the sign last night. Just your reaction when you see that. He at first was given the go sign, then it was a stop. He looked away. He was fully accountable after the game. And his post-game interview was fabulous for him to be as forthright as he was about that. But that was a monumental play in that game.
I was just thinking back to my kids when they were growing up and watching as their little brains were developing, and they found their hands in the cookie jar, and their first reaction would be, no, my hand is not in the cookie jar. No, I think you're going to have to learn how to come up with something else, because it certainly is. And then they develop, wow, I can't get away with anything other than I did this. There's no other explanation. And that's really where Walker was last night. There was no other way to approach it than to say that it was all me, because his head was looking at his shoes. And I was just happy I wasn't president of the team, because I think I would have run down to the clubhouse during the game and lost my mind, because it really did change the game. You don't want to be thrown out at the plate, but if you do, you want to be able to blame the third base coach if you're a player. And he just never looked up.
All right, we'll get to the injuries in a bit. But we viewed the World Series 24 hours ago this way. Both teams are sending pitching to the hill in Game 4 that they really don't want to send to the hill. So therefore, with it 1-1 going to Game 3, Game 3 is really important, because think about how you feel if you're the loser of Game 3. Great. Now I'm down 2-1, and I'm sending a bunch of guys to the mound that I really don't want to send to the mound. I mean, so I'm curious your thoughts on, besides the obvious math, the fact that, listen, both teams and the Rangers just basically had a bullpen game that they weren't planning on. I mean, I kind of feel like this tonight is like jambalaya from a pitching standpoint.
And it's funny, what I was thinking is only 20 years ago, the Game 4 matchup of the World Series was Roger Clemens against Carl Pavano. Two really good starters. And only 20 years later, the best we can come up with is another guy we drafted, Andrew Heaney, and that guy Mantiply, who's a nice piece who will pitch one inning for the Diamondbacks tonight, as he did in Game 4 in the last round against the Phillies. So that's the first thing I thought of. The second thing I thought of was the 69% rule, which is in a tie series, the winner of Game 3 wins the series 69% of the time. And then I was thinking how easy it was for us, the Marlins, 20 years ago, to be in the 31%, because we were also tied at 1 and lost game 3 at home, going down 2-1, and then won 3 in a row and won the World Series. So I love all the stats. I love all the numbers. At the end of the day, here's my question. More a statement than a question. If the Rangers bats are hot and the Diamondbacks are cold, then the Rangers will win the series. If the Rangers bullpen implodes and the Diamondbacks bullpen can possibly get back out there with Sewald, not blow another save, and be strong at the back end with Ginkel and Thompson, then they're going to win. There is no change in my view of this series. I thought it was a 7-game series before yesterday, and I think it's a 7-game series today.
Even with a blown save, I mean, going back to game 1, when you have the opportunity, it's hard to win 5 games in a series, if you know what I mean. And how much did your philosophy change when they blew the save in game 1? Or apparently it didn't.
It didn't, because I was trying to think back, and we had blown saves at the end of the season. Ugueth Urbina, our closer, he could barely lift his arm, and there were blown saves left and right. So I really don't view it that way. The only save, this is what I would say to you. There's only one save you don't want to blow, and that's a Game 7 save. The way Mariano Rivera did in 2001 against these same Diamondbacks. You blow that, then that's it. You're going to lose. And whether or not it was a blown save or he came in a tied game is not relevant. I'm talking about your closer being on the mound and walking toward the dugout instead of turning around and celebrating with the catcher. Those are the two things that you think about. But these are two great teams. It's not getting enough attention, and I'm defensive about it because the ratings are bad and people think it's not fun to watch or there's no players to watch. There's a lot of players to watch on both these teams. There's a lot of reasons to watch these teams, and we've seen 2 interesting games, and really, I viewed the 9-1 game on Sunday, I guess it was, as an interesting game, even though it was a blowout, because you saw what kind of exciting team the Diamondbacks can be and how their pitching is. So I actually have enjoyed each game of the series so far.
Well, and game 2 was 3-1 in the 7th, so it was a close game for a while before they broke it open late. All right, the Rangers injuries. Normally we deal with injuries in football. So Scherzer has to leave after 3 innings. He's given them 9 2/3 innings in 3 starts so far in the postseason. But Garcia, and that looks like an oblique. And I don't know how you recover from that in 2-3 days. And as we mentioned, there ain't many days left in the season. He's only been the biggest bat of the postseason. Your thought on the Rangers' injuries in the Game 3 win?
Well, this is a very interesting conversation. Garcia is a first-time arbitration-eligible player next season. Hard to imagine. He's playing at the minimum this year. And his salary is going to go from $700,000 to, let's say, $7 million. And if I'm his agent, and boy, am I going to get criticized for this, but here we go. If I'm his agent, I'm not letting him play the rest of the series because Garcia, left to his own devices, would say, let me up there. I'm going to hack. I can do it. But you don't want to aggravate an oblique because as it is with an oblique, you can be out for quite a while. And you want to make sure that you're going into the offseason with full knowledge that you are going to be fine for spring training. Because in the real world, you don't recover from an oblique in 5 days. It's weeks, not days. Sometimes it's months, not weeks. The Rangers put him in the MRI tube last night. There's no way that they didn't. There's no way they don't have the results. There's no way they don't know right now exactly what the story is. And it's too bad because it's been so much fun to watch him because every time he's up, he could make the difference in the game. He's got a great arm. He's got a great bat. He's got a great personality. There's just something about Adolis that makes it fun to watch. So I felt very badly for him and for the Rangers.
Look, we know what he's been doing, but just from a mental standpoint, you take that bat out of a lineup, that seems to be even mentally more of how it could hurt the Rangers because he's provided so much for them offensively so far in the postseason. Taking one bat out, that's not the end of the world. But the mental part of taking one bat out could be a lot more.
I think that you've got Corey Seager there to lead the team mentally, and I think the most important player we should think about is the guy at the top of the lineup. If Garcia can't play, Marcus Semien, who showed one little sign of a little nugget of a something when he got that double in the RBI, he's got to be better. And they can win without Garcia. They absolutely can. And what they're saying to themselves is, it really stinks to not have him. But, man, we can win 2 games with Samson in the middle of the lineup if we had to. And that's all they have to win to get their first ring in franchise history. And they've got a great manager right now, Bruce Bochy, who under no scenario will allow them to think anything other than they are 18 innings away from winning a ring.
How much in your eyes is a manager worth? And I ask that because your hometown team, the Milwaukee Brewers, is seemingly letting Craig Counsell go find a better deal elsewhere, which is interesting because he's taken to the postseason more times than their entire history. They had gone to the postseason before him. I'm just curious, how much do you and your other fellow executives actually view a manager's worth?
Well, it's certainly changed over the last 20 years. I would say that there's 29 teams who send the lineup down to the manager's office. It didn't used to be that way. It used to be the manager made the lineup, the manager figured out the pitching script and just would tell the front office, and that really has changed. Craig Counsell is an interesting one. I think the Brewers realize that spending the money that Counsell is going to earn on a manager right now, their window is closing, not opening, and they've had a great window, but now it's closing. I think they love Craig Counsell and want him to go do whatever he can do for his family, for himself, and he's using the Guardians, God bless him, to get more money from the Mets, and I love that he's doing that, but I don't see a scenario under which he's not in Met pinstripes next season.
Well, then the Brewers Brain Trust will go to New York. They did great things in Milwaukee. New York's not Milwaukee.
New York is not Milwaukee, and sometimes it works. When Andrew Friedman went from Tampa to L.A., it's worked fantastically, at least in the regular season. When Chaim Bloom went from Tampa to Boston, it didn't work quite so well. So it can work, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work. But it's going to be very interesting for David Stearns and for Craig Counsell to work with Steve Cohen and figure out how possibly they can make the Mets something other than a huge disappointment.
You know, it's funny. The guy who went to Boston from Tampa actually did everything that ownership wanted him to do. Literally. I mean, he built a really nice farm system from ashes. Okay. He took him to the ALCS once, and now he's got him positioned cap wise and what have you and so they fired him. So that's good. He's David Samson. Okay. Nothing personal with David Samson. He'll talk about the James Harden trade along with the World Series. That's coming up in 47 minutes. You know the places to go find it. Nothing personal with David Samson. He records it live at 8 a.m. every day. He joins us every Tuesday at this time. Follow him on Twitter/X at David, the letter P. Samson. Chocolate or candy? 10 seconds. What are you giving away tonight?
I put a board on my door. Nothing. I don't want my door to be knocked on. I'm in a hotel room in the middle of Connectrick.
Oh, it's true. You're in a hotel room. That's true. Plus, it's Game 4 of the World Series.
It would be odd if people were knocking on hotel room doors.
Very odd. Though if I were a kid, that'd be perfect.
Miller and Moulton, thanks for listening.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again. Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Not going to lie, I watched the third period of Red Wings Islanders over the World Series last night.
That was a good period to watch.
Do you have any word on what the viewership was for World Series?
No,
Did you get
No,
it?
it won't take a couple days.
Okay. I'm
yeah,
not familiar with the TV world at all.
yeah, dinner time at the earliest. That'll be preliminaries.
And Mark, you
So
got
it's-
4.5. That's what the
4.5 million.
4.5
It's
million.
a lot. I gave you a lot. Although game one was the lowest rated game in World Series history.
How many did it do?
I think it did like 9 million.
What was your guys' take on the Final Four last year? Because I know it. I mean, you guys being down here, I'm sure it was probably a little bit different. What the vibe was with FAU and Miami.
Oh,
you know,
we
like
knew nationally that
Yeah.
it was a bore.
But see, like as a college basketball fan, I like that, but I understand why.
As a college basketball fan, but as a
As a
fan,
network
but,
and stuff, you
But they
hate
don't. It unless it's Blue Bloods, it doesn't draw.
That's true.
It just doesn't. Never has. Bruins were down 2-0 last night. Came back and won that game.
Yes, they did. 2-0 after one.
What's their record? They have one loss.
8-0-1.
Okay, that's pretty good.
All right. He says he's got a play of the day. He's ready.
Oh, whoa! Wait, we're still doing this?
Well, that's up to you.
Yeah, if
I
that's
like it.
Felipe's thing, we can carve out a different.
Well,
whatever. I don't care.
it was actually something that was a sponsor's thing. And we gave it to Felipe, and then we lost the sponsor, and we just said, keep doing it.
Okay, well, we don't have to. It's just
one of these. No. There's certainly something worth playing.
All right.
We prefer radio calls over TV calls.
Yeah, I looked for the Dan Miller one. I couldn't find a good clip of it yet. I'm sure it'll surface later.
The what?
What? Dan Miller, the Lions play-by-play radio guy.
Gotcha.
He's always on fire. He does a great job.
They did a very nice Lomas Brown ceremony, and
great to hear that.
Monday Night Football mentioned it coming out.
Yeah, I saw it when they put the big jersey. It was.
Yeah, we did.
Actually, Troy spoke very eloquently of Lomas.
Yes, he did. It was very nice.
Yep.
Back in 10.
Troy was very complimentary of the Detroit Lions organization throughout the broadcast last night.
As he should be. I don't know how you can not be.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes after the hour. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Happy Halloween! And we have a Halloween-based poll question. And simple. It's Mark's. Caught me by surprise. Man, I feel old and out of touch. He posed the question. I said, that's ridiculous. He went, no, it's not, old guy.
I am scared to even ask our young producer, but if it's between chocolate or candies, what are you going with? Like the Sour Patch Kids and the Starbursts?
See, you know what? For me, it's not even a question. It's chocolate. But I will say my generation probably is the one that started that whole downhill swing of we love the juicy, fruity type candy. But I'm a chocolate guy. Probably get that from my dad, gotta say.
Okay.
See, another thing that their generation is ruining.
Yeah, listen,
get off my lawn.
Hey, listen now. We set them up for failure, though. I mean, come on now.
It's our fault.
Well, it's our parents' fault. Okay, it is, and it shouldn't have been. Okay, because they started strong, but they began it, and we said, "Oh, we'll take it from here," and we have taken it to the ditch, and now they're in the ditch trying to figure out what to do from here. Some good, some bad.
Well, David, I feel like if I might ask, I feel like you have a good response to this type of question. In honor of the late, great Mike Leach, do you like candy corn?
No.
It's a very polarizing candy.
Yeah.
I like candy corn. I can eat candy. There's nothing I can't eat.
No, hold on. He did not ask me, could I eat candy corn? He asked me, do I like candy corn?
I like candy corn.
Not really. But when it was the last thing left, and I would make sure it was the last thing left because I ate everything else first. And then at the end, I would go, well, this is what we're stuck with, huh? Yeah, all right. Going to be one of those days. And then I would proceed to eat the candy corn. But no, it was last. So chocolate or candy? That's what we're asking. That's our poll question. Hard-hitting stuff. That's how we roll, Miller and Moulton.
Little World Series talk with David Samson as Texas goes up 2-0 or 2-1 last night. The Lions with the win last night.
We're 8 weeks into the NFL season. Come and gone. That's it. Most teams have played 8. A few have played 7. And yes, I wore a Halloween costume on Monday Night Football. I did not know I was going to be on Monday Night Football, but they decided to do a little 20-second thing and use me as the prop. And, I was, for the record, Joe Buck, I was a dinosaur, not a sad lizard. Believable. Am I allowed to yell at him?
Absolutely. There was a time when you probably couldn't have yelled at him when you were doing spotting for golf tournaments for Joe. But at this point, as you've pointed out, you don't work for Joe.
Well, I mean, I do, but I definitely work for Troy University. There's no doubt about that. And he had my back yesterday. He did.
That's what you should go. That's what you should get is some Troy State swag and just start wearing that to the games.
That's a good point. Walk around wearing Troy sweatshirts and what have you.
They got a good logo.
See how long they're the Trojans, aren't they?
Yeah, it's like an upside down sword. They do the Tennessee Titans type deal.
Yeah. So I'll see how many weeks until people figure it out. That's a good point. Good idea, Mark. Thank you.
Trade deadline is today. We had one trade yesterday.
I was so excited. It happened around 3:30. I'm like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And you know what? It's a team that should be traded. Adoree Jackson's a corner. A lot of teams could use a corner. Giants don't need Adoree. They're not re-signing him at the end of the year. Okay, so trade him. I mean, at this point, you're 2-6. You're not good. So
will they trade Saquon?
I don't think so.
Should they?
Yes. But I don't think they will. Because I do think there's somebody who would acquire him and sign him also. That the Giants may only get, quote, rental value for trading him, but I actually think there's somebody who would look at this as like a 2.5-year guaranteed money investment. Sign him to a 3-year deal, 2 of it fully guaranteed. Kind of like
now,
the
I know
Jonathan
Dallas
Taylor
could
deal.
use him. They wouldn't make that trade. I'm trying to figure out who would be the team if you're
How about
trading.
Baltimore? How about the Ravens with Saquon?
Man.
How about the
Man,
Ravens
oh,
with
man.
Saquon? All right. I'll give you another one. And he's played better lately. What about the Bengals?
Mixon had his best game of the year last week, but it doesn't mean they couldn't use the help, David.
Correct. Now, he may not like Saquon showing up. Maybe that wouldn't go over too well, but I keep thinking Baltimore. You're right. It should be Dallas, but I don't think the Giants would do
right.
that.
That's not going to I don't see the Giants and Dallas doing business.
No.
You can't trade your best player to your rival.
Correct. Well, I mean, Belichick could, but everybody else no. So, there you go. I'll tell you what. I know they won't do it, but how about in Tampa Bay? I mean, you add Saquon Barkley to that, an offense that's struggling, an offense that can't run the ball, by the way.
Could they afford to trade for him?
That's a better offensive line in Tampa than the one he's been playing behind in New York.
David, as a Giants guy, what would you want to get back for Saquon?
Well,
like what's fair? What's realistic and fair? What do you think?
Well, first off, if I was running the Giants, I would have signed him. Okay, I would have given him the Jonathan, Taylor deal that the Colts gave to him. He'd be under contract for 2 more years at least if I was running the Giants. So, but a rental running back, you'd have to get at least a third, in my opinion, for Saquon.
Tampa would be interesting, but do they have the money to even do it?
Well, if they're not going to re-sign Devin White and Mike Evans, okay, first off, you have the Giants absorb the money this year, and then you worry about keeping them beyond that. But I'm thinking that if I'm Tampa Bay, I'm looking at Saquon as a 23, 24, 25 investment. They're not tearing it down. They're not doing what I would do, what I think I could convince you to do. They're trying to get by this year, compete, maybe steal the South, and then be better in 24 and 25. Well, their running back core is not good. Rachaad White's had 1 good game.
He's decent catching the ball to the backfield. He can't hit a hole to save his life.
So, all right. We're going to continue this, right? I mean, Felipe started this whole play of the day thing. We're going to keep it?
Well, I think he's on probation, but let's see what he can do. Here's Trent Bally with the play of the day. Trent, what do you have for us?
Probation's a good word because as your incredible listeners will figure out if there's an excuse to talk about the Detroit sports, particularly my beloved Detroit Lions. I'm going to throw it in there. Monday Night Football last night, Jahmyr Gibbs had a breakout game. Let's see it.
Gipper comes in at left guard as they hand to Gibbs, and Gibbs breaks it. Touchdown, what a night for the rookie. Wow. Come back. Jahmyr, come back.
Come back, Jahmyr. Number 12 overall pick in the draft. Lions finally figuring out a way to use him correctly.
And then he did the Ford Field leap.
Yeah, and climb.
Right.
And then was getting attacked by the lady next to him.
I know. With her boyfriend sitting to her right. She didn't care. She hugged him like I'm going home with him. He's already scored, if you know what I mean. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network.
At the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Week 6 in fantasy football, lost by 2 points. Week 7, lost by 3.5 points. Week 8, lost by 4 points.
Wow.
Is there one guy you're pointing the finger at?
Yeah, the general manager. Actually, you know, it's funny. I told Felipe and Trent this yesterday. if I wanted to tee up Roto this week, when I asked Roto, who do I start? T. Higgins, D. Hop, or Rashad White? And he says, I'd start you before I'd start D. Hop. D. Hop had 35 points.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Levis effect.
Exactly.
You know, Mark,
You
that's funny
figured-
because I lost by 2 this week, and I had Sam Laporta. So if he would have caught that last pass, I mean, he was going to get 5 or 6 yards.
I
He might
had
have scored.
St. Brown last night.
Dude, how good is he?
And the other guy had Jacobs, and that Jacobs touch, or that that drive killed me.
I'm just glad I'm not a Devontae Adams owner. That's for sure.
Ooh.
Tough scene. I saw a joke that was like, the league should step in and make Devontae a free agent. Just make it happen. Free reign. Whoever wants him, go get him.
I want to see who the Cowboys are going to get today, if they're going to get anybody. Devontae.
Is there any chance Tampa Bay trades Mike Evans?
Sure. Todd Bowles was asked yesterday afternoon on NFL radio about the Bucks today, and he said, we're going to be listeners.
Because I feel like Mike Evans fits more in Dallas than Devontae.
Mike Evans would be spectacular in Dallas.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
see
it.
how Dallas can get by Philadelphia / San Francisco. They got to score some points. They don't have a good tight end anymore. Pollard's the only running back worth a damn. And Gallup hasn't come back. I mean, it's CeeDee Lamb and who's the other speedster that they only occasionally use?
Don't they have Woods there?
No, is it Woods?
No.
Who's the guy they acquired from the Texans?
Austin.
He gets hurt a lot.
Yes.
It's a
Brandon
hamstring.
Cooks?
Cooks.
Bingo. Cooks.
Not Woods. Cooks. You're right.
Cooks.
I had the wrong 5-letter name.
Close. I do think the loss of Kellen Moore is understated too. Like, I don't think it's a huge loss, but they look different.
Yeah, I could argue it's a wash. Less yards, but they've taken care of the ball better.
True.
They've complemented their defense better.
Want to go Dabo here?
Yeah, love to. Do we have the clip?
Ooh, no.
Probably not,
No.
because I don't know what you guys are talking about. All right, we're back in 5.
If you have the quote, do you want to read it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the hour. Thanks for waking up with us, Miller and Moulton. Happy Halloween here on the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. That's our poll question. So what are you giving away? Chocolate or candy? I can't believe the question personally, so that's how old school I am. It's chocolate, for goodness. Of course it's chocolate.
And I'm giving away chocolate so that my wife and I have chocolate to eat. The kids want candy.
Unbelievable. Kids these days. Anyway, that's our poll question. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Florida Sports Network, and then floridasportsnetwork.com.
So Dabo Swinney did his Monday radio call-in show.
I love coaches' shows.
And David's not lying. We love them.
My favorite moment in radio history was Edgar from Palatka calling into Bobby Bowden. It was spectacular.
After Bobby got beat in the first game, right?
Oh, they were 1-2. They were awful.
They had lost. They were playing BYU. And
Edgar called in and said, Coach, let me tell you, Okay, don't you listen to everybody else. I love you, Coach. You're a God-fearing man. You're the best thing that's ever happened to Florida State football. God bless you, Ann, and your family and all that you've given us. And, Coach, I had a dream last night. And you know what you guys are going to do? You're going to fly out to Utah, and you're going to whoop the pants off them Cougars. That's what you're going to do. And these people a week from now, they're going to be calling in here and they're going to be telling you what a great man you are. And you are a great man, sir. God bless you, Bobby Bowden, and go Noles. And sure enough, if they didn't go out to BYU and spank them.
So a caller, and I've tried. I've listened to Dabo's comments. I have not been able to hear the caller. Every audio clip that I have doesn't have the call. I think he was young. Criticized Dabo, criticized the 4-4 record, and made a point that Dabo's making close to $11.5 million.
He went there.
Yeah, he did. Yep, and Coach got mad. Coach said, you can all have your opinions. I don't know how old you are, and I don't care. We won 11 games last year, and you're part of the problem. And he went on to say, when expectations exceed what the problem is, where the team is, that's where we get through problems. And he kept going. Talked about saying he was at the lowest paid business in this freaking business, and I'm where I am because I work my ass off every day, and I'm not going to let some smart-ass kid get on the phone and create this stuff. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Really?
Yeah. There we go. All right. Now we're talking. Okay. Now we're getting closer to that 6 seconds of truth that we seek. Yeah. Let's go. It's, instead of nice puff, sponsored segments. Here's third segment, Dabo Swinney Show, brought to you by Jersey Mike's. Okay. Coach, sometimes when you're struggling out there on offense, you know what you need? You need a foot long from Jersey Mike's. Jersey Mike's. Fresh.
The official sub of Clemson Tigers football.
Tigers football. Yep. Between how many shows you and I have done and all the shows we've listened to, we could do an SNL spoof every damn day about a coach's show. I have to admit, Dabo is stubborn, and it served him well to this point. He does seem to be not wanting to acknowledge reality, though, right?
Not at all. He's not acknowledging the transfer portal, or at least not going in and using it the way other coaches are.
Right. Now, to be fair, Georgia hasn't used the transfer portal much. They don't have to. Okay. But they did use it strategically this offseason. Bama has used it strategically now for 2 years. Clemson, I think, took one kid in the last 2 years. One kid. And he was not a big kid either. It was done, I don't want to say a favor to a friend, but it was really not done for the overwhelming benefit of the football program. But also, as Bud Elliott and Chris Landry pointed out yesterday on our show, Dabo's had a brain drain, Mark. And for as much as we don't talk about the significance of coaching the staff, Dabo's lost a good chunk of the upper part of his staff in the last 2-3 years.
And Chris Landry flat out called Dabo out from an X's and O's standpoint and said he is not a great X's and O's coach.
No, he's a recruiter, and he's a motivator, and he's a guy who runs the program. But he's not, quite frankly, the latter part of Bobby Bowden's career. Bobby called the plays for a long time, but once Bobby turned it over to Mark Richt, Bobby was a manager. Mickey ran the defense. Mark ran the offense. When did Bobby get into trouble? When he turned the offense over to his kids. And he started not to recruit as well. And that was on him because he was the recruiter and the manager. The line in sports before Mariano Rivera, who was the greatest closer in sports. It was Bobby Bowden.
Bobby Bowden won over mothers in living rooms.
Right. To send them to a nursing school. And we all know what happened. But you wonder, Mark, this is kind of the first sign from the fan base, kind of like, hey, man, come on. We got to do better than this. What are they, 4-4?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, this is, and granted, younger kid, he's not going to acknowledge as much as what he's done as maybe somebody a little bit older, but he's at least saying, come on, dude, 4-4? I mean, come on. We get if maybe you're not in the playoff every year, but I mean, we kind of expect 6-2, especially with who you lost to. Got thumped by Duke. Yeah, I know it's a good Duke team, but come on, we got whacked by Duke. We lost to I mean, how would you characterize Miami? Are they good?
No.
Pretty good?
They're average.
I'd go above average. I'd give
Really?
above average. Yeah, I would.
Really? They just went to overtime with Virginia.
I understand. Virginia just beat North Carolina. I'll give them
who
above
lost
average.
to Georgia Tech.
I
I
know.
mean, you want to play this game? I can right now. I can do it in that conference. I think they're average.
Okay.
But you want to give them above average? Fine.
Well, but either way, what this kid's basically saying is, come on, we just lost to average/above average Miami, for goodness sakes. What are we doing? We're Clemson. I don't want to go back to when I was growing up, they talked about this thing called Clemsoning. And I don't know what they're talking about. Is this what they're talking about? Are we Clemsoning again? I thought we'd put that sucker aside. My daddy told me we spent years Clemsoning. Is this Clemsoning?
I'm used to winning games we're supposed to win, not blowing games that we're supposed to win.
So,
but Dabo went on the attack.
Yeah.
Never a good look.
No, it's not, especially when you are making $11.5 million.
Well, see, David, you can go on the attack making $11.5 million when you're 6-2, 7-1. To me, the only part of the attack that's bad is he did it when he's 4-4. That's the bad look. That's when you got to have some humility.
Yeah.
And Dabo had none in that moment.
No. Well, I mean, Mark, most big-time college football and basketball coaches don't. I mean, they run the programs as if they are godlike people, and they are treated as if they are godlike people, and they make staggering demands of everyone around them, and they are acquiesced on 99% of them.
I got to tell you, though, whoever the producer and call screener for that show are, well, I don't want to be that guy.
Well, they're unemployed. Trent's lucky he took this job because we just had one or two more candidates for it if he hadn't taken it. Oh, you're the kid who let the 24-year-old call into the Dabo show, huh?
Yep.
Well, you don't have to worry about that on this show. You want to start?
Can you be here at 5:30 in the morning?
Right. Oh, my car might break down in Tampa. That's okay. Happened to the last guy. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I naturally woke up today about 20 minutes before my alarm, so we're getting there.
Wow, that's. Listen, Trent, I'm stunned. I'm stunned. We were able to find Felipe. He did it while still in college, and then did it for 2 years.
That's remarkable. He's
I
a
know.
machine, by the way, working 7 days a week like that. Can't believe it.
It's funny. He comes across as really young sometimes and kind of goofy, and yet he has actually really grinded, for 2 years now as a young professional.
And especially the last 7 months when the TV became a lot more
Right.
taxing on him.
And not only that, he's managed to find a very nice young lady and keep her. I think because they see one another 37 minutes a week. Felipe, if you're listening, this could be problematic. She's now going to spend time with you. It's real easy to put on, the cologne and what have you for 37 minutes a week. Now you're going to have to do it for about 5 hours and 37 minutes a week. You could falter during those extra 5 hours.
You know what? That's a dadgum good point. He's going to have 2 off days now.
Right.
That she's going to demand some time on those off days.
Right.
She could get sick of him in a hurry.
She could. Yeah.
He's already gone and back in bed. He's abandoned us. Trent is on his own. Felipe walked in at 7:00 this morning and said, bye. That was basically his last departure from this show. He just kind of walked in and
I kept telling him, I'm like, you can get out of here, man. You don't have to stick around. But he wanted to hear David starting 5. So he did that. And then he screeched out of the parking lot.
He was in costume this morning,
yes.
Wasn't he?
He was Stitch. Lilo and Stitch. He was Stitch.
Wow. At 6:30 in the morning. For the record, I did not wear the costume walking down the streets of Detroit. I didn't. I know that's what Joe wanted. Okay. And so I disappointed him yet again. Okay. But I walked to the stadium. All right. I had a radio show yesterday afternoon. So I didn't get to the stadium till around 7:00. And so I put the costume on in the booth. All right. And I did not wear it home.
Pulled out of a briefcase or something? You just kind of like took it in?
I stuffed it in a Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl backpack.
Doesn't get any better than that.
No, it doesn't. All right. One of the better sponsorship switches. Nothing wrong with a Hyundai. I've owned 7 of them. Okay. But you know what? If you're going to get a backpack, which logo do you want on it? Give me the damn tiger. Kids love it.
Yes, they do.
They think you're cool. Hey, can I have that? Sure. I get one every year. Really? Yeah. Every now and then I get a hairdryer with it.
Tony the Tiger.
Right.
Pat Kirwan, Kevin Brockway coming up in the 8:00 hours. We'll talk all things NFL with Pat, and we'll talk a little Gators with Kevin coming up at the bottom of the 8:00 hour.
So we're 8 weeks through the NFL season, and we're also the same through college football, baby. Okay, we got games now, although we'll have another game tonight. We got Maction, I think, starting tonight.
We have Maction starting tonight.
Yeah. But then
do you guys actually like that, or do you just like the gimmick of it? Like in the middle of the week?
I don't watch that much.
Okay.
I think it's smart of them to do because anything put on the 4-letter network gets 1 million viewers.
Right.
Correct. And those Max students are crazy, by the way. They're all watching.
Yeah.
I mean, like I got 2 brothers that went to CMU, and they watch Maction every week, no matter who it is.
Well, yes, and they wouldn't get on television otherwise, and if they were on television, they'd get 37 eyeballs, and so now they get 1 million. Yeah, it's smart to do. And no one goes to the games, whatever. No one goes to them anyway. So no, we're into Maction.
That's the worst conference in the country now.
Yes, it's not good. It's not good. And James Harden got traded last night, and you're never going to believe where he got traded. Mark, he wanted to go to the LA Clippers. Do you know where he ended up?
The LA Clippers.
No! Really?
Because when a player of superstar status, because we don't believe he's a superstar, apparently
he is in the strip clubs.
Well, yes, he is.
He's a strip club superstar.
In fact, on the 50 greatest, he's at the top of that class, David.
Yes, he is. He's on 2 all whatever lists, NBA and ballet.
Pat Kirwan's on our list. He's next.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again. Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples.
BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Life Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlifetransportation.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Good morning, boys.
You sound like
Can you hear me?
Oh no, yeah, you're in the tunnel, but we hear you. What's up?
Yeah. Well, you were priceless last night. I don't know if you caught it, Mark.
Oh yeah, the sad lizard. I caught it.
Yeah, and he had a moment where everything he did physically reminded me of his wedding dance when he turned around and shook his ass on national TV. And it's I had people that were waiting to see if you came down the street. No, you're right. You didn't, but you should have.
No.
You're the only lizard that wears glasses. That was the other thing that struck me as funny.
I'm working. Hell, I had a headset on underneath that. I had a microphone coming out the side.
I've learned a lot about you this year that I did not know. And that's part of it. That, the wedding dance. I mean, I've taken you to a different place in my mind.
You know, and I rightfully did not show my wife that wedding dance because that'll mean she'll encourage me to do something like that at some point in my life.
Well, I think, Mark, David is good enough of a friend. He's going to send that to your wife and sabotage your plans to lay low on wedding day.
Listen, this is the one time it's all about what the daughter wants. Okay, the daughter makes that request. Daddy will do it for the daughter. Daddy ain't going to do it for the wife. Daddy does it for the daughter.
Oh, that was another thing that impressed me. That was the third phase of the new David, or the one I didn't know. Couldn't say no. You were giving Felipe relationship suggestions when you just told your wife, go to England. I'm not giving you any money. That one?
Yep.
That guy?
Yeah, yes. Well, I just warned him. Not suggestions, just a warning. You know, she fell in love with you because she didn't spend any time with you. Now she might have to spend time with you. Just saying.
No, he goes south on you real fast. And I don't know Trent, but hello, Trent. He's out there somewhere.
He is.
I'm right here.
Hello, Trent.
Great to talk to you.
You know what you get yourself into here?
Oh, I'm excited. Believe it or not, I love this kind of stuff.
I'll be checking in with you once a month on that statement.
I got to get used to the retro board here. Other than that, I'm enjoying it.
Just bring a lot of duct tape with you in that place.
Every little bit helps.
When I drive past that place, which I did yesterday, I look and I go, there's a building back there with a big tower that has never done one thing to improve itself.
Boy, ain't that the truth?
I always felt like they don't even wash the coffee pot there.
Pat, that's funny because if that is the truest, most 100% correct statement you've ever made. The coffee room is the dirtiest place I've ever worked in my life. It's disgusting.
It is. I mean, I've been there enough to know, but
it hasn't been clean since you were here last, and that's 5-7 years ago.
Yeah, and no one seems to care.
Nope.
Well, I got to get someone to look at one of my laptops today. I don't know what's wrong with it. Something's gone haywire. Do you know any guys that would take a peek at this?
I don't
think it's serious, but it's just I can't get out of.
You might be just best run over to Best Buy.
We're back in 5 seconds.
Yeah. The Geek Squad, where are you, boys?
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
And the 8 o'clock hour on a Tuesday during football season means Pat Kirwan. He of NFL Radio's Moving the Chains, weekday afternoons 3 to 7, Saturdays 2 to 5. Also, CBS's NFL Today show on Sundays. So you get the idea. He works every day. And then we ask him to get up early on Tuesdays and Fridays and join us courtesy of Pinchers from Tampa to Key West and a dozen locations in between Pinchers where you can't fake fresh. Good morning, Pat. Week 8's in the books. Trade deadlines in 8 hours. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I don't think we're going to see a lot of action. All the rumors that have been out there was content to get us through the last 2 weeks, but not many deals. Happy for Pete Carroll. He had his eye on Leonard for a long time, and almost always all the way back to his USC days, but he's finally got him. And I know that meets with your approval, David, because they're doing something and they're trying to stir in this big race of theirs. And they will with this acquisition, along with getting Frank Clark. Frank Clark's going to give him depth and we know Frank. Frank waits till the postseason to start going crazy. So I'm happy for those guys. And maybe I'm even more happy for Detroit, who Seattle beat, I think, but they look tremendous. The young players last night. Didn't you feel like you were watching the same kind of effect Seattle's rookie class last year had? Jameer is going to be unbelievable. Who's he remind you of, Mark?
Well, I mean, he can do a lot of things. And I mean, his individual talents, I don't know who he reminds me of. His ability now running the ball inside the tackles is what they didn't have out of him. And he did that last night, which impressed me.
Yeah, he really, he's a weapon and a half. And Laporta is too. And Jimmy Miller was all over Laporta, and I fought him a little bit on Laporta that he was going to be that good that early, but he is.
Listen, this draft for the Lions is going to go down as one of those drafts that they will talk about, I think, for a generation. Because if we believe that the Lions are not a flash in the pan, that they're going to be, dare I say, good for a stretch here, then that's the type of draft that gets talked about. And remember, Hendon Hooker in the 3rd round, who they're just stashing. And maybe one day they'll need him. Maybe they won't. But 2 out of the first, 2 out of the second, all 4 impact players. By the way, Pat, my answer is Alvin Kamara. That's who he reminds me of.
That's the one. That's it. Alvin has enough inside run skill to go along with everything else. That's the right tag for that kid. Really, and I think the tight end tag might be Mark Andrews over in Baltimore. So those 2 things, and then you look at Amon St. Brown, and I'm not now referencing the rookie class, but that kid, they got playmakers all over the place.
18th wide receiver taken in that draft. He was the 18th receiver taken in the draft. There aren't 18 receivers in the league better than him.
That's right. And then you just lock up the quarterback and not or get him under contract. I don't care what you have to pay him because he is really the engine for this thing. And he's in great shape, and he could play easily 5 more years, maybe longer, barring major injury. So they could have a run coming here that's going to last.
They gonna be able to maintain the run when they lose the offensive coordinator, Pat, because that's a big part of this. And who knows how long he'll be there, because he's got to be right for a head coaching job now.
Yeah, I think everyone worries about that stuff, but I wouldn't worry about it, because ultimately the quarterback's going to run that offense, and the head coach oversees it. And your head coach is an offensive-minded guy. He looks like a defensive guy. He's got shoulders like he's a defensive end, but he's really an offensive-minded guy. So a lot of guys will line up looking for that job. I don't think they'll have a problem maintaining what they have. There's too many weapons now. And that offensive line. I don't even want to tell you what I think, how good they are. They are terrific. And some of their backups can start for most teams.
Interesting situation emerging in Chicago, which a gentleman in our Twitch chat room who goes by Chinatown's Finest is addressing. So Jalen Johnson, who's a good solid corner for him, okay, might even be better than that at times. He wants to get paid. They've talked. They're not going to pay him what he wants. He says, fine, get me out of here. And they've said to him and his agent, yeah, make some calls. See what you can stir up. Pat, at what point as an organization, though, do you say, we got to start keeping our good guys?
Oh, a long time ago for that team. They just don't know how to do it. And it's unfair. If you really want to help the kid, you tell him the morning of the end of the free agent trading period. The first call I'm making, I'm getting on a plane today. Today's Tuesday. He's off. I'm flying to Dallas. I'm walking in the office. But and I know that Chicago's probably got requests and criteria for the trade that no one's going to want to meet, which is not fair to the kid.
How about Buffalo, by the way? They lost their number one corner.
Absolutely.
I think they need a linebacker and a corner. Jalen Johnson's available. I mean, come on. Are we trying to win a Super Bowl or not?
I know. I'm with you. And he's one of those guys that you definitely would want to have on your team. So they could have said this to him 2 weeks ago, but I guarantee when people have called about him, and I guarantee they have, the request that Chicago has for compensation is the problem. So now they turn to the kid and say, go try to make a trade. Oh, don't come back to us unless you have a third or a second or whatever they want. And it's already too steep for anyone to pay for. But if I'm the kid, he can get a deal with a team. He just can't satisfy the compensation for the Bears.
How many teams, Pat, are not even picking up the phone today? Because I'm guessing there's a lot of teams that, we talked about the Bucs, they're going to listen. But how many teams are not actively even going to participate in the trade deadline today?
I think they've all been participating for a month, feeling out what the compensations are going to be, looking at the contracts, wondering if you're going to pay part of that deal. All that stuff's in the equation. So this doesn't happen today. It's kind of like why there's not a lot of mega trades on draft day with veteran players, because it's impossible to get anything done with them. So this turns into the same time problem. I can tell you that Seattle was fishing around for the big tackle from the Giants for a while. And there was some criteria that had to be met. And if it was met, then he would be available. I think if the Giants won on Sunday, how crazy is that? They had that game won. I think if they won, they weren't moving Leonard. They didn't win. They moved Leonard.
And it's not just the difference between 3-5 and 2-6 in the standings. It's also you've won 2 in a row, and you did it with your quarterback hurt. And now you're going to get them back. So can we really, trade guys now, especially since we had a good year last year? We're a new regime. We're trying to change the culture. I mean, that all enters into it.
Yeah, and the wild card spots are available. That 7 spot's going to be available to someone. You said it last week, David, to a team that may not be 500.
No, it could be the right 8 and 9. I mean, the last 2 years in the NFC, it's been the right 9 and 8. But this year, heck, it could be the right 8 and 9.
Yeah. So we all like to see action because it really fills our airwaves. But I don't think we're going to see enough to make tomorrow the day of trade talks.
All right. What do you do if you're the Vikings, Pat?
Well, the first thing is I would be thinking about the quarterback I want. It would have been Carson Wentz. And they don't even seem to be interested, and they should be. And he's not a savior, but he's way better than what they have on the roster. The next thing I do is give you a couple of shekels for Ryan Tannehill, but that's not going to be good enough in my mind. I think going for Trey Lance, I wouldn't waste my time doing that. He hasn't proven he can play. So I think it's Carson Wentz first, and that doesn't cost any compensation. And Wentz would love to be on that team, throwing to those guys.
A North Dakota kid, played at North Dakota State. He grew up, I'll bet you, dreaming of playing for the Vikings.
Yeah, that'd be my first stop. And people fight me on this all the time. Oh, no, he's not that good. I go, he doesn't have to be any better than the guys on their roster. And can you look at their roster and tell me who he's not better than? That's what I'd be doing. And it brings me all the way back to Hendon Hooker. Why the heck did they not draft that kid?
I'm telling you, this 2023 Lions draft, they're going to talk about it in Detroit for 20-plus years. They really are. I
wanted to ask you, just because I'll forget, it won't mean anything tomorrow, but what were the streets like when you were trying to walk into that stadium? And did you get a sense of the temperature of the fan base? That I'd like to know.
First off,
did you see Mark walking down the street? If I was Mark, I would have been flying home for that one.
Now, I had only been to a game in Detroit 2 other times. They were both Thanksgiving games. Far more jerseys last night than on Thanksgiving. I don't know if that's because people don't wear the jerseys on the holiday. I don't know. Or is it because I'm really psyched up about the Lions for the Lions, not for the tradition of hosting the Thanksgiving game? The streets were alive. They really were. To quote Springsteen, it was glorious walking the half mile from the hotel to the stadium. And Pat, it's awesome when a sports team or two changes the entire mood of a city. I, for 2 days, have thought I'm on a cruise. Everybody is smiling. Everybody's friendly. Everyone's in a great mood. I mean it. I feel like I'm a tourist on vacation. Okay. And it is because of the Lions. That's all. You here for the game? Yes. Oh, isn't it great? Do you think we're any good? I do. Really? How good do you think we are? I mean, unbelievable. And it's so awesome because how many fan bases deserve it more than this one?
They deserve it a lot. And maybe Cleveland's right up there with them. But Mark, this is really about you. Here's what Jimmy Miller says. He lives in Detroit. He said, it doesn't matter how good the hockey team is. It doesn't matter how good the basketball team or the baseball team. He goes, you wouldn't believe it, but still a Lions town. Is that true?
I think it's a Tigers town. I think if the baseball team is good, I think that the history of the Detroit Tigers would supersede anything there. But I moved out a long time ago, and the NFL is much bigger now than it was, and they have been yearning for this for so long. So I do think that they can take. I mean, they're taking the town over right now, but the other teams all stink. So it would be interesting to see if the baseball team were good. That would be the only one that, to me, that would be able to come close.
Not only have they not won a playoff game in 32 years, they haven't hosted one in 30. I mean, if they win the division, they'll obviously host a game. Never mind. I mean, this morning they're the 2 seed. Could you imagine if the Detroit Lions could host 2 playoff games when they haven't hosted one in 30 years?
Well, you're the one who makes me look at schedules. They can make a run right now for about 4 or 5 wins in a row.
There's no doubt. And the Eagles have a tougher schedule. I mean, the one is not impossible for the Detroit Lions. It does exist. Wow. It's hard to say with a straight face, but their schedule is there for the taking for the Detroit Lions.
Yeah. It's exciting.
It really is. It really is for them. We'll bring things closer to home with Pat Kirwan. He joins us each week, courtesy of Pinchers, with locations from Tampa to Key West. Pinchers, where you cannot fake fresh. More with Pat on the other side right here. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
All I was saying, Mark, was I think it's a football state.
Yeah,
between-
you've never experienced the Tigers being good.
Well, that's the other thing. So I think it's like a double-edged sword because it's like people love football and they've been so starved for a good Lions team, and now it's kind of weird. Like they don't know how to act. But also, you're right. I mean, the last time the Tigers were good, I was 13 years old. So I mean, it's been.
And they got just statewide. They got a huge radio network. I mean, that's
yeah.
So it'd be interesting.
And
but,
I mean,
but football's bigger than baseball now. So
yeah. Like David said, though, I mean, anytime your NFL team is good, it's just going to brighten up everything just because of the nature of the beast. You only get 8 home games or whatever.
Yep. Yeah, the audience is just so much bigger.
Right.
A guy called the show the other day and said he finally stopped wearing his Barry Sanders jersey to the games and broke loose and got himself I don't know which guy it was. So he said, no, I had to take my Barry off. I go, what? It was like the transition from the past to the present.
Kind of a random thought, but I really, really, really hope the Lions go back to those Barry Sanders era uniforms next year. That's the rumor. The rumor is, well, they're changing their uniforms, but the rumor is they're going to just transition back to the 90s era.
I got to admit, I hate when colleges and pro teams, when they get the big prime time spot.
Oh, they do the look at me thing and try to do too much.
Wear the best classic uniform you got. It's
Let me
like
tell you.
Ohio State. Just wear the damn scarlet and the damn Buckeye helmet. If you're the Lions last night, okay, white tops, blue pants, and the damn silver helmet. Come on.
I like it. I just think it would have looked better with the white jerseys, but I think there was some NFL stipulation with that, like a dress code thing. They weren't allowed to wear them with any other.
No, the NFL regulates it. But let me just tell you about players. You really have, it's a bizarre thing I'm going to say, but I've witnessed it many times. The players can get a bad vibe when they go put on these uniforms that are like one-timers, throwbacks, color rush, all that horseshit. I've sat there and watched guys going, I don't want to play in this. We're playing. They're why did guys go to Oregon? Because of the uniforms. But I saw NFL players sitting in the locker room going, I don't want to wear this. I look stupid in this. This is a bad look.
I can't imagine how Packers players feel in those awful throwback jerseys. The Bumblebee Steeler jersey.
Yeah. We had Kara wear the Bumblebee last Sunday.
I saw it. It was great.
I
listened to him on McAfee. He was great.
Yeah.
That documentary is probably, it sounds spectacular if you can find it anywhere.
Yeah. He's very pleased to have a copy of it. All the NFL films, all the stuff they have cataloged the history of the NFL. You can find anybody who's ever shot a picture of is in there, and you can get and build something, a storyline for almost anyone.
Actually, McAfee did a good job at the end of that. He talked about that and said, they were having pictures of Cowher as an assistant because they've got so much archive footage of just him in the background coaching before he was. I mean, they just the things that they have in the library.
He was with Schottenheimer in Cleveland.
Oh, Marty was his mentor. Totally. He idolized Marty. I ran into a guy down in Florida who claims he was the guy who was moving the jugs machine. He shot the footballs, and after practice, Cowher had to take like 20 shots on the jugs machine for dropping an interception in practice when he was playing for them. He goes, "You know who I am? I'm the guy who launched the ball that broke Bill Cowher's 2 front teeth and knocked him out of his head."
It's a hell of a distinction to have in life.
Yeah. So as Bill says, yeah, that's how I got these chiclets.
I don't know. Serve Strahan pretty well. You can do something with those chiclets. See, when you're successful, that's character.
Yeah, his look like goalposts.
Yes.
Back in 10.
I like our game, Seattle. That's our best game this week, Seattle at Baltimore.
It's an interesting game. It's very interesting. But 15-1. 15-1.
Yeah.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Our remaining moments with Pat Kirwan. He of NFL Radio's Moving the Chains, weekday afternoons 3 to 7, Saturdays 2 to 5. He's also part of CBS's NFL Today show, CBS with the Super Bowl this year. Pat joins us courtesy of Pinchers, Tampa to Key West, dozen locations in between. Pinchers, where you can't fake fresh. All right. These is how the playoffs would look today. Tell me the imposter, if you believe there is one. In the AFC right now, the top 4 seeds would be the Chiefs, the Dolphins, the Jags, the Ravens, 5, 6, and 7, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Cincinnati, and the Jets on the outside looking in with tiebreakers today. Go.
Well, I think Cincinnati will make it. They're dangerous. Now they're back to full strength. They play good defense. The quarterback is great. So they'll make it. Imposters, Miami's defense and their ability to protect the quarterback. That could be a problem. So which team in the AFC do you think is going to have the pass rush to get to the quarterback? Because when you get to them, they lose. That's the first one that concerns me. Jacksonville's never been there to the point of climbing the ladder and winning a bunch of games. But I think they'll be fine. And then there's Baltimore. And tell me what Lamar's record is in the postseason. People start to figure out how to corral him. His great success is playing these NFC teams and winning in the regular season. Can he stay healthy? He hasn't done it for the last 2 years. So those are where the imposters are. Kansas City just knows how to win, and the quarterback, if he's healthy, which he will be, they're just a tough out, and they've been to so many big games. So I like that crowd. The 7 seed will be knocked out right away, I think. Do you think the Chargers could get in there? The Jets and the offense, I don't know about that.
Well, if the Chargers are going to rise up to be the 7, they have a game Monday night at the Jets. They have to win it.
That's correct. And I hate trusting the Chargers. They break my heart every time I do, but I'd be inclined to bet on their quarterback.
All right, quickly, the NFC, it would be Philly, Detroit, Seattle, Atlanta, and then Dallas, San Francisco, Minnesota would be your wild cards today. Go.
Atlanta, I think they'd be one and done. They're going to win the division, maybe, but I don't think they're ready for prime time. Their offense isn't good enough. Their defense is, but the offense isn't good enough. You got to score points, so I'd knock them out pretty quickly. Seattle, they haven't won the division yet. I think they're still going to lose the division to San Francisco. I hate to say that in front of my friend, but he's not listening. I know he's not. It's 4 o'clock in the morning out there. So, and I don't trust Dallas. I mean, Dallas, I'm tired of people telling me how great their roster is.
I'm with you. I want to go back to what you said about Jacksonville, though. And I know they've not been there, Pat, but at some point, how much are you going to trust a team taking that out of it? Because defensively, the way they're playing, going into Pittsburgh and out physically playing Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh is not easy to do. Jacksonville seems to have the right combination going forward.
They do. I'm going to talk to Trevor Lawrence today, so I'm very excited to do that and get to know him. I've interviewed him many times, but we got him today. So, and we're doing it off air, so I think it'll be more relaxing for him, and then we'll use it on the show. Yeah, so you got to break through one day, and he's talented enough to do that. But I think when you're against some of these teams that have these war daddy quarterbacks like Mahomes and even Lamar, the younger guys, people tighten up when the games, and so do the coaches, by the way. And sometimes I don't bring that up. When you get a coach that hasn't been there and now he's in it, Doug Peterson's been there, so I kind of trust him. The young guy in Miami, he really hasn't been in enough big games yet. I think he's a brilliant young coach, but I've witnessed coaches, they're different on postseason game day. It's a little big sometimes for these guys.
Do the Niners have to do something? They've lost 3 in a row here. Is this just a stretch that happens? Or now, upon further review, do they need to go acquire someone today?
Yeah, and I talked about this with you last week, but when they went for McCaffrey, they were on a 2-game losing streak and said, we're not going to get where we want to go, and they make the McCaffrey move. Now they're on a 3-game losing streak, scoring 17 points in all those games. So can you make a case for a secondary player? Yes. Can you make a case for a pass rusher? Yes. Can you make a case for fortifying the offensive line? Probably. So do they have the time to get at least one of those things done? Yeah, they're not afraid to do it. And McCaffrey's a good example. So, yeah, I think they'll try. But, how many teams want to feed the beast called the 49ers? But I think they're probably aggressive right now this morning. We'll see.
I liked the Dolphins Sunday just because it was businesslike, Pat. To me, they're showing that they're improving throughout the season. Ramsey's back. The defense, that makes that defense better automatically. And they were just businesslike in their approach to winning on Sunday.
Yeah, Ramsey helps a lot. He helps everything in the defense. Now all of a sudden you got a guy, if you want to match up, you can, but you also have the ability to have a blitzer. You can leave him alone and basically free up someone, a safety, a linebacker, to be the blitzer. And if he wants to do that, I love when people say he doesn't like the blitz. Maybe he was smart enough not to blitz until he had Ramsey back. But there's only one Achilles heel there. They play decent enough defense. If the offense can be there 35 points, whatever it's going to be, sometimes 40. But we all know the 2 losses are 4-sack games. And I keep going back to it. That's the only way to beat Miami. Get to the quarterback. If he gets the ball out of his hand, I said this last week on the show, you're in trouble. If the ball comes out of his hand, you're in trouble because the guys he has down the field can score at will sometimes.
All right. You're the GM. I'm the assistant. We're in Buffalo. And I'm pounding the table saying we cannot win the Super Bowl unless we get a linebacker and or a corner today. And you're saying, yeah, the Packers won their one Super Bowl with Aaron with 15 guys on the injured list, and they were all key players. We're fine. When you look at Buffalo, do you think they need reinforcements today, or can they still win a Super Bowl without Milano in the corner?
They need a corner, and they need a linebacker. And I think their experience of falling short multiple times now. And I know the GM there very well. And I know the head coach is going to want. He's now coaching the defense. That changes everything. He personally is doing it. And he knows what he wants to call and how he wants to play. And now his hands have been tied. And Milano was a joker for them. He could blitz, he could drop, he could cover, man to man. He could do anything. And the corner's a situation. So they should get the Chicago corner. That's the first thing they should do. And then finding a linebacker. There's a couple teams that have an extra linebacker. You got to get someone who can function. So they can do both things today if they can find them. And not worry. Now I'm going to sound like David. And not worry about the draft compensation. Stop worrying about it. You can trade up and down these drafts. John out in Schneider out in Seattle had 4 picks one year, and by the time the draft was over, he had 11 players. Move up and down. Giving away 6th and 7th are a joke. All you got to do is take the 5th round pick and move it down, and you'll get a 6th or 7th for doing it. Move a third down, and you'll get a fifth for doing it. You can do it if you want to. So stop worrying about the draft stuff. Give it away and make your run.
All right, there's already been one trade. We've talked about it. David set the over-under at 4.5, so 3.5 left. Over or under 3.5 trades between now and 4 o'clock?
Well, in the world of gambling, which I'm not, you always take the over, right? But I'm not. I'll take the under.
Just here we go. Over.
Hey.
Over.
No, over because you want it to be over.
Nope. No, over because that the Super Bowl's up for grabs this year. It really is. There's 8 teams that can win it. And I think because of it, most of those 8 will make at least one move.
Mark, would you clarify what a half is? And we're talking about human beings. I don't know what that means.
It's a tiebreaker. That's what the half is.
Yeah.
It's there simply for tie-breaking purposes.
Mark, if it happens, you're going to have to tell me what the half was. I just want to see who you'll insult the most.
Fair enough. Done. He's Pat Kirwan. Joins us twice a week, courtesy of Pitchers from Campton Key West. Pitchers, where you cannot fake fresh. Pat, as always, thanks for your time. We'll do it again on Friday.
Take care and keep an eye on Dino the dinosaur over there, whatever he was last night.
A sad lizard. Miller and Moulton, thanks so much for listening right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, hop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Hey, David, do you fly direct back to Jacksonville?
No, unfortunately. I flew direct here, but no, my flight is through Atlanta, fortunately. There's not as many directs going through Jacksonville as there are Southwest Florida, believe it or not.
Is there an airport in particular that you despise?
Well, I mean, there are some, that just... There are virtually no direct flights anywhere. St. Louis, Memphis, they're very difficult. But Trent, you're going to find, Southwest Florida has a lot of flights. And I don't just mean the one direct flight a day. Like Jacksonville has a decent number of cities where they have the one direct flight. Unfortunately, most direct flights, the one-a-dayers, are like 7, 8 a.m. And this show, gets in the way of that.
It doesn't really line up
Right.
for you.
But when I lived in Fort Myers, I could get a direct flight home midday, early
Oh,
afternoon.
you'd have been. I mean, especially out of Detroit. The Delta's got like 4 flights a day that come down.
Exactly. Whereas they have like one to Jacksonville. And it wasn't available. It was available this morning. It wasn't available in the afternoon. But like Sunday, I had a noon to 2 flight from Jacksonville direct. It was glorious.
So we got Kevin in a couple minutes.
And you're calling him.
Yes, I got it.
I will say I do have to laugh. You know, I don't take myself seriously, but when Announcer Schedules retweeted a picture of me and Troy in the booth last night, okay, and identified me and Troy, because usually they, Monday Night Football, Joe Buck, play-by-play, Troy Aikman, analyst. Here, Monday Night Football, David Moulton, spotter, and Troy Aikman, analyst. It's a picture of me and Troy.
Nice.
That's funny. That's funny.
What Florida papers do you pay for, if any?
Tampa Bay. That's the only one. Their sports section's really good. Their paper's really good. Really good. So Trent, just so you know, you're going to get that Mark and Trent text from me late afternoon, evenings, overnight, 5:30 a.m.
And you don't have to respond.
No, it's just to let you know.
I nearly sent David a text going, yeah, I think this, I'll end this.
Yeah, I was taking my midday nap when you guys sent it, so I woke up like 2 hours later, and I felt like I had to at least show you I was alive. I guess not. Whatever. We'll figure it out.
I think it was sent with Felipe attached because he was handling social media times, and so this way he would tweet out what was on the show.
No, I always tweet out what's on the show.
But for the most part, yeah, for a while now, it's been all Mark.
Yeah, by the way, I'll get the Twitter info from Felipe.
I got it.
Oh, you have it?
Yep.
Okay. Then I can be more involved on that side too. Help you
Yep.
guys out. Okay, we got Kevin, and we're good to go in 40 seconds or so. Sorry, David.
Louisville lost to Kentucky Wesleyan in an exhibition game.
FGCU lost to Bethune in a exhibition or a scrimmage over the weekend by 2.
They're both Division I programs.
Yeah. I will say Kentucky. St. John's got beat by a D2 school. Patino got beat by a D2 school like Saturday.
Coming back.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes till the top of the hour, our final segment along the network. Thanks so much for being with us, Miller and Moulton. Happy Halloween, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Our poll question, Halloween-based. So, you going chocolate or candy? What are you giving away? What is it you want? You want the sweet stuff or you want the Snickers and the Reese's? All right, that's our poll question. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, floridasportsnetwork.com. We'll ask Kevin Brockway the hard-hitting questions now. He covers the Gators for the Gainesville Sun, and his stuff can be read all over Florida as part of the Gannett Florida Network. Follow Kevin on Twix, Twitter/X at Kevin Brockway G1. Kevin Brockway G1. Kevin, it's David and Mark. Hope you've been well. How are you?
Good. Does chocolate qualify as candy or no? Or
We're separating them. We're splitting hairs here because what I've explained to David that he has wanted nothing to do with is I've got a 9-year-old daughter. She would much rather have a Sour Patch Kid or a Skittles than a Snickers. And that's, bothered the two old guys sitting here.
Interesting.
So what are you giving away tonight, Kevin?
I don't know if there are going to be any trick-or-treaters coming around, but I'm a big Reese's guy. So I'll probably get a bag of Reese's and if some kind of peanut butter candy type, chocolate type candy. And if nobody stops by, then I'll just eat it myself.
There you go.
Sounds like somebody who's buying the candy that he wants to eat when 6 people show up at the door. Okay, we're through the cocktail party, and before we get to Arkansas on the home stretch, so they're 5-3. They've had some moments, good and bad. So where's the program, Kevin?
Yeah, I just lost you there for a second. Can you repeat the question?
They're 5-3. They've had their good moments, their bad moments before they head down a difficult home stretch here. Year 2, where's the program heading down the stretch in November?
Yeah, it's interesting. I wrote something today about, the similarities of the final scores, 43-20, 42-20. So I think it honestly begs the question, what progress are they making in year 2 under Billy Napier? I mean, this is a different team, but is it any better of a team? Especially when you consider 5-3 versus 4-4 last year. But if you look at 3 of the last 4, if they don't beat Arkansas on Saturday, in which they're favored, they're going to be an underdog in their final 3 games, all against ranked teams. So this is really a must-win for bowl eligibility, and even then you're looking at 6-6. So I do think that, some people will point to the recruiting for next year, the fact that they've got this number 3 national class that they've put together as a sign that, Napier is still building and trending in the positive direction. But the results on the field, to me, are just kind of showing that, this is still kind of a mediocre bowl-eligible program right now. While Graham Mertz was a great transfer addition, they also probably whiffed on a few transfer additions on the offensive line, on the defensive line, and they kind of are where they are right now, which is a middle-of-the-road SEC program.
Kevin, is it fair to always be comparing them to Georgia? Because Georgia right now is at the pinnacle. I mean, this is the best Georgia team ever, best run Georgia's had ever. And when you're making Gator comparisons to the best that Georgia's ever had, you're going to come up short. Is it fair to use this as the only comparison? Because it seems to be all Florida fans want to compare themselves to is Georgia. And we all know that there's a long way to go before they come anywhere in Georgia's area code.
Yeah, and, listen, Georgia's an elite program, and I would, but there was a lot of optimism going into this game. Like Chris Doering, Dan Mullen, there were people picking Florida, because Brock Bowers was out. I think there was, coming off the bye week, you had the comeback win over South Carolina. There was a thought that the offense was coming together. And to me, I kind of thought going into the game, okay, well, they're not going to beat Georgia, but let's see if they can stay in the game for half and 3 quarters. And it turned out that they only stayed in the game for 1 quarter, and it was 36-7 going into the 3rd quarter. So I think that's where maybe some of the disappointment lies. I think rational Florida fans weren't expecting them to upset Georgia, but they did want to see them be a little more competitive, and they weren't. And, they had that great first drive, right? And you can question whether Billy Napier's decision to go for it on 4th down from his own 34 and the play call really hurt momentum in that game. And maybe it did. And maybe if, he has to do over again, he punts, maybe they do stay in the game for half or 3 quarters and it doesn't snowball. I mean, that's something that we'll never know. But it does appear that there's a significant talent gap, particularly on both lines of scrimmage, where Florida just got pushed around for most of the day.
Kevin, our thought is that he has to have an aggressive 2-prong assault if he wants to cut this window in terms of when it is they're going to be in the area code of the elite again in half. Because it's one thing to recruit top 5 recruiting classes 2-3 years in a row. But if he doesn't supplement that with what Florida State has done in the transfer portal, if you know what I mean, then the Gators are still going to have quite a bit of separation. Doesn't he have to follow up the recruiting with a very aggressive and successful couple years in the transfer portal?
I agree, but I think it's easier said than done, David, in terms of the evaluation of it. And I think, credit to Mike Norvell and his staff. They've done a really good job up there in terms of the evaluation and finding guys that fit. And I mean, if you take a look at Billy Napier in year one, he got Osiris Torrance to come with him. He was a generational talent at offensive line. He was an All-American. He's starting for the Buffalo Bills now. And listen, last year they had a great offensive line, and they had a quarterback that couldn't throw the ball accurately, and Anthony Richardson, who was a talent also and was mobile. And this year it's kind of a reverse. You have a stationary quarterback that, is an accurate short grower, but a bad offensive line because you lost Torrance. So it's kind of one of those catch-22 things where you really need to hit on a higher percentage of your transfers. And I don't think Billy did that this year. I think he hit on some. And, also last year he hit on Ricky Pearsall, who's been really good for 2 years, but he's going to be gone after this year. So, the evaluation piece of it is important as well as, just bringing guys in because, they brought some other guys in from Big Ten programs, R.J. Moulton, the safety, Taraja Mitchell, linebacker, G. Spurlock, a linebacker from Michigan that haven't panned out. So it's a hit or miss proposition. And most of the time, in my experience from seeing in football and basketball, it's 50-50, but credit to FSU because they've hit on a lot more up there, and that's one of the reasons why they are where they are.
Kevin, you mentioned Mertz has done a nice job as a transfer. Is this going to be another transfer year's quarterback, or what's down the depth chart at the QB position?
Yeah, right now, because, Jack Miller's had shoulder problems all season. So, Max Brown has supplanted him as a number 2 for this year. But next year, you have DJ Lagway, the 5-star from Texas, coming in, who's having a great high school senior season, probably going to be an Under Armour All-American. We'll get a chance to see him in Orlando in January. So he's the future for sure. But it would be nice if they could get Graham Mertz to stick around one more year to kind of be that bridge year and to give DJ Lagway at least a little bit of time and not throw him to the Wolves as a true freshman. I think that would be the most ideal situation for Billy Napier. But we'll see, because Graham's going to have some decisions to make too. I mean, if he's coming off a really good season, which he's put together, does he say, hey, look, it's not going to get any better. My stock is the highest now. Maybe I should go out. Or, does he, decide to stick around one more year and give it a go? I think that's going to be an interesting decision, and we'll see how that unfolds in December.
I think he'd be crazy. It's going to be a loaded quarterback draft class. I think he'd be crazy to go this year and to not stay one more year. He also says he's having the most fun he's ever had playing college ball with the Gators. I think he'd be nuts to leave after this year. There's 15 quarterbacks would be taken, at least 12 would be taken before him. I think he'd be crazy. Just my opinion. Listen, you still spending time around the Hoops program?
Yeah, and they've had 2 very good preseason scrimmages, quote unquote secret scrimmages, but we got the final scores for both of them. And listen, they went down to Miami, they beat Miami 91-89, which is, Miami Hurricanes program obviously went to the Final Four last year and returned 3 starters. So I think there's some promise and some hope, and then they beat FIU 102-60. The 2 returners, Riley Kugel and Will Richard, have looked really good. They've got a little more size inside, I think, and Banlock than the transfer from Marshall, who's 7'1", and Tyree Samuel, who's 6'9", and a little more depth in the front court, a little more size, a little more physicality, which I think will serve them well in the SEC. And Walter Clayton at the point guard and Zion Pullen, they have 2 guys that are capable there too. So I think they're pretty optimistic, but the SEC is going to be really tough. A lot of people are talking about with Vescovi coming back, that this could be Tennessee's year under Rick Barnes to get to the Final Four. And Buzz Williams has got a pretty good squad, Texas A&M too. And oh, by the way, Kentucky, as usual, bringing in a great freshman class. So it's going to be a loaded league, but I do think that certainly that Florida has upgraded in some areas and could be competitive in the SEC this year.
Well, Gator fans longing for the days of 15 plus years ago when both the football and the basketball programs were elite at the same time. And right now they're both closer to mediocre at the same time, trying to take that next step. Kevin, thanks for spending time with us. Happy Halloween. Hope all is well with you. And we'll do this again, hopefully before Thanksgiving.
All right. Thank you, David.
Kevin Brockway, kind enough to join us once again. Kevin Brockway G1 is how you follow him on Twix, Twitter/X. Kevin Brockway G1.
I'm with you 100%. Mertz would be a fool to leave.
Yeah, I mean, he's built his stock up. I mean, he was no way in blank even going to be drafted when the season started. Now he's played his way into being a day 3 draft pick. Well, now maybe play your way into being a day 2 pick. Okay, come back. You obviously like this offense. Your skill set fits it better than the Wisconsin offense that you were in because you're completing 10% more of your passes in Gainesville than you were in Madison. So come back. The line can't be worse next year. It can't. And he's right. They missed. Man, their tackles. Whew. Georgia put those 5-star freshmen out there to rush the passer. Florida's tackles look like turnstiles. Man, oh, man. Whew. That was rough.
The Dogs are so far ahead of the Gators right now. And that's why I asked the question that I did. I almost think it's unfair right now that the Gator fan puts this how close we are to Georgia thing. Because I don't know, it doesn't matter who the coach is. It's not going to turn around overnight. It's going to take time. And to your point, David, they're going to have to be damn near perfect in the portal and continue to recruit at the level they are if they want to catch Georgia in 3 years.
And I understand. I really do. After nearly a quarter century in the state, I really do understand how the Gator fan, most of them, is feeling. But I think we need to think here, Gator Nation. We need to think. Things are different now than they were in the past. And it's more complicated. And the SEC is getting bigger and tougher. You know, in the past, you only had to worry about a couple of schools. I mean, now...
And you never had a Georgia problem. You never had a Georgia problem before this.
No. You always had a better coach. And even if they had equal talent, you were better than them because you had your act together and they didn't really. And now Tennessee has gotten their act together after a 15-year hiatus. And Oklahoma and Texas are joining the conference. And you know what we're getting at here.
And like Mark, LSU and Bama aren't going anywhere.
Right. And also from a talent standpoint, I mean, Texas A&M may just be what Georgia was for 2 decades there. Okay, where they have all this talent and they find a way to only win 9 games. You know, I mean, Jimbo at Texas A&M could be Ray Goff. I mean, he could be. He may never even become Mark Richt at Texas A&M, where he can get it to 10 wins, but still not win the right games. But from a talent standpoint, I mean, you know, when they're on your schedule, it's like, that ain't easy. Even if they are only the 6th best team in the conference, maybe 7th. Like I was thinking about it, Mark, the other day, how tough it must be for certain schools. Like you're Arkansas, and I'll make this as quick as possible. You've got your act together, and you can name 9 schools every year that are ahead of you. They just are. They start far ahead of you. The 2 in Alabama, LSU, Texas A&M. We go Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Texas. That's 9 right there. If you have your act together, 9 programs start with a head start.
And with no divisions, that's just how hard it's going to be to get to a championship game in that conference. It's going to be next to impossible year in and year out.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again. Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn,
Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Life Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlifetransportation.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to make sure you're shopping with the best. And the best when it comes to GIA certified diamonds and diamond jewelry is not online. It's not in the malls. And it's not with any of the new pop-up jewelry stores trying to make a go of it here in Southwest Florida. The best place to buy diamonds is with my friends Jason and Todd at the Diamond District, who have made Southwest Florida their home for over 20 years now. The largest selection of GIA certified diamonds is with the Diamond District. The only place you'll find diamonds 8 to 10% over cost is with the Diamond District. America's top bridal designers have chosen the Diamond District to represent their engagement rings exclusively in Southwest Florida. Simply put, the best selection, experience, and best prices are with Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Hey, David, I don't know if you saw this. I don't know if you knew him, but the North Florida baseball coach passed away.
Yeah, I actually saw him in May when FGCU and North Florida, when FGCU played at North Florida. He was replaced after the season. He was battling cancer. Yep. Nice guy. A couple different stints with the school. They were trying to make a late rally and make the ASUN tournament for him. They won a bunch of games late. They took 2 out of 3 from FGCU that weekend.
Toe got anything this year?
He was loaded last year. Last year was his year, man. Lost his top 2 pitchers to Tommy John and still made it to the ASUN championship game. That whole lineup came back. He was loaded last year. I don't know. There's no way they hit as well. There's no way their lineup's as good.
But are the 2 pitchers coming back?
Yep. And yes, Canada Relief, Florida has more coaches than the Gators have regular season losses in the last 3 years.
Mark, you seeing this Urban Meyer stuff is really picking up some steam?
More again?
Yeah. The report is it's a done deal.
Yeah, I've
They're
seen
just
it twice.
kind of waiting. Everyone's thinking like 15 million a year, 3-4, like a shorter deal, 3-4 years. Do you want that or no? Would you take
Hell
it?
yes.
I would too. I would too in a heartbeat. I think all these people doing the holier than thou shtick of like, we don't want him because of morals. It's like, I don't know.
Well,
I'm a
it's
win.
tough for, and Mark's a straight enough shooter that I can get away with saying this. It's not like Michigan State can play the moral card.
Exactly.
They have none.
Okay,
Exactly.
and I don't mean Mel Tucker. So
Oh, you just
they
in
can't
general,
they can't play the card. So if you can't play the card,
hire the gun.
I was going to say,
especially with Michigan going through what they got going on right now. What a
now,
trump card that
I
would be.
wouldn't.
Bring
And we
Urban.
could talk about this. I wouldn't do it. And I'm an Urban guy in college. I mean, I think he's
Less than 10 seconds.
legendary, but I wouldn't do it.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the bonus hour, the Diamond District bonus hour on Halloween. Happy Halloween. Thanks so much for listening. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Our poll question is Halloween candy related. It's either chocolate or candy. What is it you want? What is it you're giving away? Is it chocolate or is it candy? Is it the sweet and sour, Skittles, gummy bears, or are you going Snickers, Reese's? No, we do chocolate. Yeah. About 60-40 right now going chocolate. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Florida Sports Network, and floridasportsnetwork.com. That's how you can vote. So you and our new producer, Trent, okay, you brought up something during the break. I just, let's out with it. Let's have it. Let's go there.
Trent just asked me very matter-of-factly because there's another story out today that Michigan State and Urban Meyer are continuing to talk to one another, and that the job offer's there. It's just a matter of whether or not Urban's going to take it. There's people that say it's a deal that's already done. And do I want him? Hell yes, as a Michigan State alum, I want him. We have no morals at that university. Win. The job's to beat Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah, he hates Michigan, and he does beat Michigan. So there you go.
Well, listen, I mean, there is no argument you can make against Urban Meyer in terms of, is he going to be successful? Or is there? And I'm an Urban guy. I mean, listen, he's a liar, all right? And even while he was winning, when he was at Florida, we did shows. We called him, he was a liar. Urban can look right at you and lie. Right at you and lie. He's good at it.
Yes, he is.
All right. But Urban was the perfect college coach of his era. He was. He had this damn Mullen guy. They ran an offense. It took a while for everybody to adjust to it. He went unbeaten at Utah, for goodness sakes, with it. Then he brings everything to Florida with everything they have to offer. He's a kick-you-know-what recruiter. He brings the whole city of Lakeland with him. They win a couple national titles. This Tebow guy, a Harvin guy, the whole city of Lakeland, boom, win a couple national titles. And then, Urban shelf life is what it is. He freaks out. He's got to go. Okay, so now he goes to Ohio State. And, you think I can get players in Florida? Wait to see what I can get here. And sure enough, boom, a lot of winning. And he's great against your arch rival. What his record was against Georgia, against Tennessee, against Florida State when he was in Florida. We all know what his record was against Michigan when he was at Ohio State. But, Mark, we also know he has trouble going 10-2 and physically and emotionally handling it.
I don't know how he do next year, because next year they're going to be 3-9 at best. I'm not joking around. They're not going to be good.
Don't you think there's something to be said, though, about how now the transfer portal is essentially
okay?
free
Listen,
agency?
Trent, I will give you whatever the best case scenario that you can put together for Urban at Michigan State over the next 9-10 months. I don't know if Urban can handle 8-4. That's my worry if I'm Michigan State. Can he? I mean, if you go 9-3 at Michigan State and one of the 9 is Michigan, they're talking contract extension. Urban needs a psychiatrist.
And after 3 years of that, would he leave? Would he just say, I can't do this, and quit?
Well, doesn't the $15 million help?
No.
Well, it's not about it. At this point, it's not. Honestly, Urban's got so much money. I mean, he's got 3 homes. Okay. He does he listen? This is about the addiction as a coach. Okay. Coaches want to coach. That's all this is. Okay. The money is an ego thing, but it's about being the coach again, running a program. Mark, let me ask you this, though. He brought his Utah staff with him to Florida. When you're at Ohio State, you can put a staff together. Most of his guys, he ain't going to be able to get and bring to Michigan State. Never mind if their time has come and gone. He would have to create a staff that he's kind of foreign with. Now, Nick did it at LSU. That's the genius of Nick Saban. He couldn't take anybody with him from Michigan State to LSU. They're like, no. We're promoting Bobby Wallace. You can leave. Everybody stays. He had to start from scratch. He hired like Muschamps and Jimbos and Kirby's, and I don't know, seemed to work out okay. But he had to start from scratch. Urban would have to start at 60 years of age or thereabouts with a brand new staff. That's my other worry. I don't know if he can handle 9-3, and I don't know if you can replicate what you've done at Michigan State in 2024 and beyond. Do you think he can?
I'd take my chances.
Okay.
Of anybody that's out there, I have no problem if they're going to spend the money taking my chances. And if they're going to spend that kind of money on Urban to be a head coach, which means they're going to do what, David? They're going to give him that kind of money for his assistants. So I do think he'll be able to put together a very good staff, because they're going to have to pay for a very good staff, or they wouldn't get Urban in the first place.
Well, it's not only that, Mark. If you're paying for Urban and you're paying for his staff, then guess what else we're doing?
You're paying NIL.
There we go. And I think, quite frankly, even Urban's going to have to say, listen, we're going to have to be at the top of the damn pay scale. I mean, to get the kids here, I mean, come on now. I mean, they can't get better offers anywhere else, if you know what I'm saying. So how much money are we talking? Yeah, double it. That's what I'm talking about. So, 2024 is different than 2005, and it's different than 2012 when he took over at Florida and Ohio State. And it's a whole different world now in 2024. Are you sure? Are you sure you want to go that route instead of pursuing Elko at Duke, the Kansas coach, Fish at Arizona? Okay. Are you sure you want to go this route?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. The embarrassment's been enough. If you're going to get embarrassed winning 3 games, you might as well get embarrassed trying to win 12, David.
And remember, he's joining the Big Ten, which in theory is now going to become its most difficult. I mean, you could look, when he was at Utah in 2004, they weren't in a power conference yet. He goes to Florida. Think about where Tennessee and Fulmer were about near the end. We didn't know it, but they were. Rick was at Georgia, but, Mark had a ceiling. And then Florida came in, and it's like, give me a year. Give me a year. I got this. Give me a year, a Tebow, and a Harvin, and I got this.
Handful of good players on the other side of the ball doesn't hurt either.
Well, I was going to say, give me Lakeland High, a Tebow, and a Harvin, and I got this. Dan, run that offense. Charlie, blitz. But you'll at least give me this. It's a different, Urban's got to do, and he's a legendary coach. I could argue, I wouldn't put him on it, but you could argue that he's damn close to being on a Mount Rushmore of college football coaching. He's a great coach, legendary coach. Is it just a little bit too late?
Could be. It could be. And I'm willing to take that risk. I'm willing to take the baggage. Because the point that you made, David's the biggest one of all. He's not going somewhere unless financially that place is fully committed at the highest level. And if you don't think that Matt Ishbia, if these meetings actually happen, that the Phoenix Suns owner, Matt Ishbia, was not sitting in those meetings and Urban's looking right at the billionaire going, what you have to give to the basketball program, you've got to quadruple it for the football program for us to be competitive. Quadruple it.
Well, that's the speculation, though, is that the vendors and these donors like Matt Ishbia they're pushing for this. They want success quick.
Well, I get it. Now, here's the other part of the equation. Shelley. I'm not going to pretend like I, am buddy with Shelley. I'm not. But Urban was at an event 3 weeks ago in North Florida, and he was asked by somebody, when are you getting back into coaching? And Shelley interrupted and said, never. Shelley does not want this. Shelley was fine with Columbus, Ohio, the whole thing and what have you. Shelley loves the west coast of Florida. She loves the east coast of Florida. Shelley wants to be in Florida. Mark, how far is East Lansing from Florida?
About 1,200 miles, David.
And it's a lot more than that in culture and lifestyle.
I just drove it. My car broke down. There you go.
Yeah.
Good news is she can fly back and forth private as much as she wants, David.
Yeah. I don't know if Shelley goes. I think Shelley may just say, I'll see you in the spring.
And Urban may say, that works out perfectly for me.
Right. I'll start a little club. I can flirt with the waitresses. This will be fantastic. Okay. Glad we got this understanding. Thanks, honey. But
thought I could dance with co-eds in Columbus. Wait till I get to East Lansing.
At Ohio State, they'll take the pictures and post them. I start winning at Michigan State, they won't even post it on social media. This will be like
I'll
the
have
80s.
my own OnlyFans account.
Urban fans.
Man. I have to admit, and I am an Urban guy when it comes to college. I got a feeling this isn't gonna work. Because for Urban, 8-4 is not working. 8-4 is he needs a doctor.
Just look at Dion and the way he acted after beating TCU to how he acted after the UCLA game, in which he said, we've got to replace all of our linemen.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's 1 year at the highest level having to deal with a little bit of losing.
Right.
Urban's been at the highest level forever and has never lost.
Right.
Not at the level that he'd lose at next year in East Lansing.
Right. And at this age, you think he can handle that? I don't. But it'd be great for college football, and it'd be great for Miller and Moulton. Thanks for listening.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill, the Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Florida.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Hey, David, I feel like with this Urban thing, it might be like they want to give him the short contract, like 3-4 years, to see if there is any success and if he can handle going 8-4. Or obviously, best case scenario, you go, 10-2. And then if he can handle that, then maybe he'll want to stick around. I don't know. I just think it's interesting.
Trent, he could go 10-2, and I don't know if he'd coach more than 4 years. I mean, Urban runs hard.
And you guys would know. I'm not doubting that.
He runs hot, heavy, and hard.
I guess what I just keep coming back to in my head is like, it's never been easier, given the state of college football. It's never been easier to turn your roster over in a hurry. I think that's why Dion said what he said. We got to get new alignment in here because my son's going to be.
You got to remember, he's been at Florida and Ohio State.
Yeah, that's true. He even won at Bowling Green.
No. It's not where he can win anywhere. But he was not in danger of losing players at Florida and Ohio State. And there were very few players he couldn't get. It's been a long time since Urban lost out in recruiting for kids. And that's why the NIL part is absolutely crucial. He, at the very least, for the kids he's going to go after, he's got to be able to say, well, you ain't getting any more money anywhere else. I mean, if you want to choose them because they're a better program, that's on you. But you want the most money, you're coming here.
Yeah. Hey, to switch gears real quick, I did not realize this. The Clippers, Kawhi, Paul George, Harden, and Russ are all free agents this offseason. Maybe that's their ticket out. Maybe that's what they're doing with this Harden thing. They dumped off a lot of salary, and then after this...
They've also traded away most of their picks for the rest of the decade.
Oh, that's true. They sold their
I can't even
keep,
I can't even keep track of picks in the NBA.
I can't either. They get traded. I think the Lakers have like one more first-round pick in this decade.
Sonny, in fairness, Gainesville had a 3-week head start, and the deal was basically done. Okay, and then yes, Notre Dame came after them hard. Okay, but they came late. The other thing is, he wasn't getting Harvin into Notre Dame, but he was getting them into Florida. And Florida's a great school, but you know what I mean. A great school.
It is, but they have a program to get kids in.
Right. Okay. Notre Dame doesn't have a Lakeland High School, if you know what I mean.
Or I don't know what it is at Florida. At Michigan, it's the kinesiology department. I don't know what.
Right. At
Michigan
Duke,
State, it's the same degree I
sociology.
have. It's employment relations. So I have the same degree as most Michigan State basketball players when I didn't make the business school.
Or
It said,
communications.
I couldn't get into the communications.
Oh, really?
I had to wait for a year because they were backlogged.
Okay.
So that wasn't even an option for me.
Sounds like you made it out all right.
What a waste of time.
Mark, how did Michigan State football do when were you there 4 years?
I was there for 5 football seasons. We went 2-3 against Michigan.
Okay. I went 2-2, even 2-2, but it was backloaded. We won my senior year.
We won my freshman year and my third year. My first junior year.
My senior year was the Kenneth Walker year. What a year. A lot of couches burned that year.
I got a question for you.
There was a guy in did you see the guy in the Iowa? I don't know if you saw the picture on Twitter. Guy on an Iowa shirt behind home plate last night with a sign that said it wasn't a fair catch.
Make a statement. We're back in 10.
Great.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. So the Lions won to get to 6-2. The trade deadline is 6 hours and 39 minutes away in the National Football League. Will it be eventful or a whole lot to do about nothing? And we're kicking a few other things around here. James Harden traded to the Clippers. I mean, I guess it qualifies as a blockbuster because would you have 7 players and 3 or 4 first-round draft picks, couple of second-round picks, a pick swap? I mean, this third team's going to have to get involved, throw in a player or two, and an extra first-round pick going to the Sixers. I mean, I'll say this, for those that care, I think Daryl Morey did a pretty good job. And I think the Sixers will be better with the guys they got and without Harden. I really do.
I've often wondered why the third team even gets involved in these trades. They don't ever seem to get much out of the deal.
Usually they get picks.
Right.
Right. They take on the salary of somebody to help consummate the deal, and they get compensated for it. Here's a pick. Oklahoma City's got like 51 draft picks over the next 7 years.
Great.
I mean, so 35 of them are in the second round, but still, they're picks at picks.
And I guess that means you can make other deals, at some point. But I've never understood the whole third team helping out 2 other teams so that we can get a player to where he wants to go. I mean, the whole thing of it just reeks. But they do it.
Yep. And James Harden traded where he wanted to go to the LA Clippers. Whole bunch of players involved. And we'll see how it shakes out. Clippers are going to be a fascinating team. They've got Kawhi. They've got Leonard. They've got Harden. Who's the other guy that they have? Okay. And they're all free agents at the end of the year.
Russ and Paul George.
Oh, yeah. Russell Westbrook. Yeah. I said Kawhi and Paul George. But, yeah, I forgot about Russ. So that went down, which, that's interesting. That's entertaining. 8 weeks in the books in the NFL. Trade deadline 4:00 today. And then there's this Urban Meyer story that's out there. Okay, so I'm going to turn it around on you. So let's just say, because I've thought the whole thing, by the way, is bunk.
And you said that from day one.
Right. That I have no doubt that Michigan State's desperately trying to talk him into it. But I still, no, he's not going to do it. Okay. Shelley will kill him. I'm convinced of that. She will kill him. Okay. Or leave him. Okay. Honestly, that's what I believe. So I don't think it's going to happen. But let's just say he's going to do it. Deep down, he knows he's going to do it. And you're a really important big money person at the University of Florida. Do you call him up and say, hey, hold that thought, give me 48 hours? No, come on now. No.
Every part of it is just delicious because...
No, let's get real. Let's get as real gets. If he's actually doing this, well, then hold on a second. Are you really going to come back and coach? Seriously? Give me 2 days. Do you do it if you're Florida?
Hate him.
Oh, no. Back-to-back 6 and 7 seasons. I just lost to Georgia by 4 touchdowns again. It ain't what it used to be. No. He's been hanging around with Spurrier. He's come to a few of the games. He's had dinner at Spurrier's restaurant. He spoke at a few Gator club things. Oh, no. They did the documentary about the 06 and the 08, the 09. No. Gator fans loved it, by the way.
Loved it.
Okay. All right. So let's take the hatred, but no, they hated. Okay. Now we put that aside. Mark, they're 17 and 17 in their last 34 college football games. Okay. 17 and 17.
And don't discount the fact they just got their asses kicked by Georgia.
Okay. Right. So now you find out that he's actually going to come back and coach, which was never an option. He went to Ohio State, he did his thing, and then he was done. And yeah, he came back for the NFL. That was an itch, try it, the whole deal, the intrigue of the NFL and the money, but he wasn't coming back to coach college football. Now he's going to come back. Are you serious? Herbs, you're coming back? Yeah, I'm going to take the Michigan State gig. Really? And yes, that's right. I called them Herbs. Herbs.
Peaches
Okay.
End.
Herbs. Okay, not Herbs. Peaches End. You pronounce the same, spelled differently. Hey, Herbs. My understanding is those that golf with them call them Herbs. Okay.
Hey, Herbs.
Hey, Herbs. Really?
I was
You're coming
just
back?
wanting to know. You're serious about that Michigan State thing, huh? Hey, Herbs.
Yeah. I'm not going to announce it this week. We're going to wait for the season to be done. I got my Fox stuff and what have you. Then we're going to announce it. Really? Yeah. Did you sign anything? No, not yet. My agent, lawyer, they're going over things. Yeah. Okay. Give me 48 hours. I'm being as serious as I can be here. I'm not just doing this as Miller and Moulton. Okay, I'm being serious about this.
You know I'd hire him if I were Florida. You're asking the wrong guy because yes.
If you're Florida, do you do it? Do you do it?
I don't think they would.
Well, once again, I'm not asking Scott Strickland. Okay, I got the biggest money people. Okay, 17 and 17. I've talked to Shane Matthews and Lomas Brown in the last 72 hours. I think I got a pretty good idea of the pulse of Gator Nation and the money people involved with Florida right now. Okay, 17 and 17. Okay, this is Scott Strickland's not going to make this decision. Scott Strickland's decision is going to be, do you stay on and do everything Urban wants, or do you go out with the bathwater? But I'm asking you, if you're Florida and he's going to come back and coach, are you going to let him come back and coach somewhere else?
I think they do.
Do you think they should?
No. Not in a million years. No. That's why I said you're asking. I don't think they will, but presented that if I were in charge, I would have my arm around him and I would be dragging him to the podium.
And by the way, you know, all the vile and everything that's been directed your way for 12 years, you come back as conquering hero. Okay. We'll have the HBC at the presser. Hell, you can name him offensive coordinator for all I care. Okay. You can give him his own, we'll get him his office back. Okay. You two can golf together. In fact, how about you coach the team, Urban? Let Steve handle the media. Seriously. I think it'd work out best that way. Steve, what'd you notice in practice today? Well, let me tell you. You know I'd do that. I would not hire him at Michigan State. I'm not kidding. I would not.
Because you don't think he can handle losing. That's why you don't hire him.
And I don't think he'll do much better than 8-4, 9-3. I don't. Not in this super duper, Big Ten. He'd have to get the right schedule. I mean, think about what's being added, how far behind Michigan State is. I just know. Florida. Oh, no, you can win in Florida. You can win quickly in Florida.
In a hurry.
No,
there's no doubt.
Yeah. And then, you come back to him and you say, so what is it you do? Well, you guys got to do this. This is what they're going to do for me at Michigan State. Okay. Give me 24 more hours. We can do that.
And here's where you guys need to be in your NIL as well.
Yeah.
Don't
No,
kid
like
yourself.
I said, I need 24 hours. That's all. I got to call a couple people, a couple guys I couldn't get a hold of.
Miller and Moulton talking a little Urban Meyer. The good, the bad, and the ugly. What's on tap and today was a day when. That's what's next right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, hop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Hey, Mark, there's a button back here that says TB. I'm going to assume that's talk back. Maybe that's how I talk to you. I don't know.
What's that?
So there's a button back here that says TB. That's probably talk back.
That is talk back.
That's how I talk to you. There we go.
There you
I
go.
just didn't want to try it before, here. Didn't want anything going over the air. Appreciate your guys' patience throughout this process.
You're doing fine. You're doing just fine, my man.
Yeah, but fine is 8-4. Am I okay with fine?
For week one, it's preseason.
There you go.
Uh-oh. It's not very often that I'm scared to read a text before I read it, but I'm a little scared. See, we've been talking Urban Meyer for 2 segments. My mother hates Urban Meyer.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Danielson. I
No. And so now my mom texts me, and I have to tap on the text to actually see what the text says, and I'm a little hesitant. I kind of feel like I'm 14 again.
She gonna give you the middle name?
I don't have one.
What?
I don't have one.
What'd she call you when she got angry at you?
David.
David.
Actually, no, she didn't call me by my name. She didn't. She grit her teeth and say, "Get over here."
That's awesome. You guys have been doing this show long enough that Mark knew David didn't have a middle name.
Oh, there's not much we don't know about each other, honestly. We don't have to do anything together. There's only 2 people in the world he spends more time with than me, his wife and daughter.
Yeah.
I'm not playing around, Trent. During football season, I spend more time with Mark than I spend with my wife.
Yeah, because you're traveling. I love it. I'm checking social media, Facebook, Michigan State football, Urban Meyer rumors are swirling again. This guy, yes, please hire another individual with no morals.
Here's the thing. You're not going to win the PR battle no matter what you do, Mark, to your point. So it's like.
Oh, that's not true. No, that's not true.
Well,
I think
no.
You hire Leopold at Kansas. You hire
Oh
the
my
Duke
God.
guy, you win that.
But here, I guess my point is just we've seen this now especially with the school down the road and the blue wall going on down there and how that school is covered. I don't think you're going to get the benefit of the doubt in very many situations. You're right about maybe hiring one of the younger dudes, but we'll see. Also, side note, I think it's only a matter of time before Hartline gets a job somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Because he's got that young flair and he's a good recruiter and he's a good play caller, that sort of thing. What else do you need? Like he could go win the MAC
Urban
right
can
now.
get Hartline, so when he quits, they could hire Hartline. I'd be fine. I'd be fine with it.
Double whammy. I don't know. OSU might fire Ryan Day if they don't beat Michigan or make the college football playoff.
Well, no, D'Antonio does not need to come back. It is not 1994.
Leave him alone.
Come on, stop it.
He doesn't need that either. He's been so happy without.
He's hanging out in Naples.
Yeah. And I appreciate him coming back for the.
I don't.
But it's just a. He's not doing anything. It's just a support thing. He's just an ear and a shoulder for the players, that sort of thing.
Whose damn birthday is it after all? Dan Rather's 92.
What's the frequency, Kenneth?
Halloween. I feel like there's got to be more Halloween birthdays.
Nick Saban.
72.
Correct.
Very good.
Back in 10.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour, 16 until we're out of here. The final segment of our Halloween show. Thanks to the Diamond District, sponsors of the bonus hour here on Miller and Moulton. Our poll question today, Halloween related. So you giving away chocolate or you giving away candy? You going the Skittles? You going the, Jolly Ranchers? You going the jelly beans? You know what we're talking about. Or you going the chocolate, the Snickers, the Reese's. That sort of deal.
I had to buy candy. Well, I didn't have to, but I bought. My mother-in-law likes a particular kind of candy she can't ever find anymore, and I found it. So I already have purchased it for Christmas. I've already started Christmas shopping, and it's just Halloween.
There is a Chick-fil-A in Jacksonville that had their Christmas lights up 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago.
Bet you that made your wife happy, didn't it?
Oh, my goodness. So I did it on purpose. All right. She doesn't like Chick-fil-A, not because of the product. Oh, please, Mark. It's all political.
Of course it is.
Remember, left-hand turns all day.
Yeah.
Okay. So she's got a thing against Chick-fil-A. And I, of course, love their chicken sandwiches. So I went out of my way to drive down this street as the sun was setting and the lights were on. My wife loves Christmas decorations.
Yes, she does.
Loves Christmas music. You can never put either out or on too early. And we caught the light right by it. And so she's sitting there and she's watching it. And she's like, ooh, look at that. And then she realized where it was. And she was still somewhat excited. And I said, I'll tell you what, we'll go through the drive-thru. You don't have to order anything. You can just look. And she went, no. And I go, you sure? And just for the heck of it, I drove through the parking lot for her. I go, see, next time we'll stop. All right. So I'm telling you, they got a chance to get her as a customer now. That's the power of Christmas lights. A month before Thanksgiving. Unbelievable. Oh, what's the world coming to?
It's time for someone to take back this segment, if for no other reason than to stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
We start today in 1913. The first paved coast-to-coast highway, the Lincoln Highway, is dedicated. Went from New York to San Francisco.
Huh. Okay.
1943, Sammy Baugh passes for 6 touchdowns as the Washington Redskins beat Brooklyn 48-10. 1950, Earl Lloyd, the Big Cat, becomes the first African-American to play a game in the NBA, had 6 points in a debut for the Washington Capitals. 1994, Venus Williams makes her professional debut as a 14-year-old. She would win 6-3, 6-4.
That was before Newt Gingrich was elected Speaker of the House. That's how long ago that was. She's still playing.
That's remarkable. Yeah. The surfer, Bethany Hamilton, today in 2003, was the day that she lost her arm to the shark and then would still go on to be a champion surfer. The Walking Dead premiered today in 2010. Probably the perfect day for The Walking Dead to premiere.
I agree.
Taylor Swift becomes the first artist in history to claim all top 10 slots on the U.S. Hot 100 today, 1 year ago. Poet John Keats, Michael Landon, Brian Piccolo, and John Candy, all born today. Dan Rather's 92. Brian Doyle Murray is 78. Nick Saban is 72. Larry Mullen Jr. from U2 is 62. The Crime Dog, Fred McGriff. Smith's guitarist Johnny Marr and comedian Rob Schneider are all 60. And Vanilla Ice is 56.
The Crime Dog is 60?
Yeah.
And he looks good.
I think he could still get you a base hit if you needed it.
As a left-handed bat? Absolutely. I got to admit, a lot went on today.
Okay.
A lot went on today.
Because,
well, okay, first off, I mean, if you want, we can go all the way back to 1517. Okay, Martin Luther posts the 95 Thesis. It led to the whole Protestant Reformation.
I know.
I mean, it's kind of a thing.
Okay.
All right. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. That's fine. Congress admitted Nevada. We became the 36th state today in 1864.
Happy birthday, Nevada.
Happy birthday, Nevada. Right. What else we got? A lot of people died today. Okay. Houdini died today in 26. River Phoenix died today 30 years ago. Prime Minister of India, Indira Gandhi, assassinated today in 84. Just saying. So there you go. So I got some stuff.
Good, because I didn't have much.
James Harden technically traded on Halloween, which I think is fitting.
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
Rebecca Napier of Frankfort, Kentucky, was going to mail a package to her daughter. She decided to take a break and buy a Coke. She said, I never even drink Coke, but I was just craving it. And she saw a lottery ticket. She said it just stood out. So for the first time ever in her life, she bought a scratcher. She won $75,000.
Wow.
Yeah. Good for her. Ticket just stood out, huh? For the bad, we come back to Florida, where a criminal had a very nice note for the CVS pharmacist. He just asked to bag the following: oxys, hydrocodone, Xanax, Adderall, Viagra. And then, of course, said this is an armed robbery. Please cooperate. I don't want to hurt you. So they gave him his drugs, and he fled on foot. Took police a matter of seconds to nab the 23-year-old when he admitted to another robbery that he did in Central Florida, trying the same thing. He'll be getting his drugs a different way now. And finally, the ugly. We go to Naples, where Julian Ovalis was at Seed to Table Saturday, dancing on top of tables. Manager asked him to get down, so he did what any rational person would do. He spit in the manager's face.
Oh, for goodness sake. Seriously? At
Then
that place?
Yeah, then security tried to get him out, and he threw a guard into a coffee machine, cutting the guard's face. When deputies finally arrived, he was attempting to leave. He took off on foot, where Collier County's finest were able to apprehend him.
They didn't have to go far. Hell, I'll bet you there was a car in the parking lot. Two of them were downstairs.
That'd be my guess. That is the good, the bad, and the ugly on Halloween 2023.
Happy Halloween. Okay, yeah, I know. Game 4 of the World Series. Blah, blah, blah. Yep, Texas, Arizona. I know you're not watching. It's a shame. It's been pretty good. It's been entertaining. But, you need something else to watch tonight, because you're not going to watch the, World Series. Fox, by the way, 8 o'clock. So we got Maction, huh?
Yes, we do.
The 50-day stretch of football every damn day continues. 7 o'clock on the U, Northern Illinois, Central Michigan. 7:30 ESPN2, Buffalo, and 7-1 Toledo. So 7 and 7:30 on the minor ESPN stations. You've got Maction. Mark, that's because the NHL actually gets the mothership, as Dan Patrick calls them. 8 o'clock, the NHL, LA Kings, Toronto Maple Leafs. From
That's a
Toronto.
pretty good game.
Well, it's entertaining. Yeah. 8 o'clock on ESPN. There's only 2 NHL games tonight. One of them's nationally televised. There's only 3 NBA games tonight. 2 of them nationally televised. TNT double dip. Knicks and Cavs early. Can I make a midweek bet?
As long as you're taking the Cavs.
I'm going to take the Cavs, and here's why. Cleveland is honked about the Knicks knocking them out of the playoffs last year. They have been talking about it.
Big one. And
They've been talking about it
at home.
Yes. Cavs are getting 3 at home, and they're honked. They're treating this like it's game whatever of their series. They got beaten 5 by the Knicks last year.
We got a couple buddies who are diehard Cleveland fans. They hate the Knicks. I've never heard of like a franchise hating the Knicks or a fan base hating the Knicks because they've never been good in my life. Cavs fans hate the Knicks.
Yeah,
it's bizarre.
because this is first good Cleveland team without LeBron in 25 years, and the Knicks just dismissed them in 5 and pushed them around while doing it. So that's at 7:30 TNT, 10 o'clock. Spurs, Wemby taking on Durant, Booker, and Phoenix. The Magic, by the way, will play another game at Staples. This time they'll play the Clippers since they played and lost to the Lakers last night. I doubt Harden plays, but that'll be interesting. Should be a shorthanded Clippers, right? They sent 4 guys to the Sixers, and I'm guessing the 3 guys from Philly probably aren't going to show up in time to play.
Well, Kawhi and Paul George don't play ever anyways, so.
Well, they'll have to play tonight. They need bodies tonight.
They'll have to play minutes for crying out loud.
Yeah.
They get rid of a lot of guys in that trade.
Might actually have to play 35 minutes tonight. So there you go. A little hockey, a little basketball, a little baseball, and college football.
By the way, I'll take Toledo tonight, laying the 15.5 against Buffalo at home.
They're good. They're the one good team in the MAC. Or the one really good team.
You've got the Cavs. I've got the Rockets.
All right. So I'm getting 3. You're laying 15 and change.
Give me a reason to watch a little action.
You're big on Ohio today.
And I don't know. Maybe I'll check out a little Wemby. First quarter. Maybe.
Means you're sleeping hard on the flight.
Oh, man, am I sleeping hard on the flight. Woo-wee.
Will you wear the costume on the plane today?
No, I will not. No, it's hot. It's full body. It's hot. It's thick.
It's 40 degrees.
It's 31, actually.
My goodness.
Oh, yeah. In fact, it's down to 30. No. It's chilly. Chilly.
That passed chilly a long time ago. That's cold, David.
But the airport's 70 something. So no, it's hot. No. No, I wore it. Hell, I didn't know, but I ended up wearing it on national television. Why am I going to wear it at the airport?
Now, you had to have a pretty good idea based on last year you would end up on TV.
No. Last year I knew I'd end up on TV. Okay. Just, I knew the dynamic at work and what have you. But no, if they didn't want to show the Halloween people in the crowd, I wouldn't have gotten on. They figured, well, since we're doing that, Troy was pushing for it though. He was.
It's a pretty good guy to have in your corner to get a booth shot.
He is, but I think, Joe is the play-by-play. The analyst has to play off the play-by-play. Okay. And you could tell by him calling me a sad lizard that, he was not, not in my corner on this.
I think you should catch a bunch of geckos this week. Let them die in a bag. Walk up to Buck when you see him on Monday and say, here's some sad lizards, you blankety blank.
This is
a sad lizard.
Right. Yep. So, all right.
Couldn't believe he called you a sad lizard.
I know.
Still don't understand the premise. Is he just messing with you?
Yeah, he was.
I don't
He
get the sad
was. We were in the production meeting. He said, what are you going as? I said, I'm going as a dinosaur. He said, what are you? I go, I don't know. I think I was supposed to be a T-Rex, but it doesn't look like a T-Rex. He's like, what do you mean? You don't know what you have? I go, no, my daughter bought it. I go, the requisite is it just has to fit.
And it did. And you look good.
Thank you. Thought I
second
represented.
that, for what it's worth, I second that. You looked great. The Chiefs have Taylor Swift. Monday Night Football has David Moulton in a sad lizard costume.
Sad lizard. Unbelievable. It's bad when you get a text from Vern Lundquist, third quarter. I'm told I missed you in a costume. I said, don't worry, I'll send it to you.
Everybody be safe tonight. The kids are out trick-or-treating. Take your time getting to where you have to go to. We'll do it all again tomorrow. Bud Elliott, Seth Everett on the show. Thanks for listening right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post shopping